Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Core Racing Network. Tonight, we head to, kind of my home race and formerly my co-commentator's home race as well. We're up here in the Pocono Mountains at the Pocono Raceway. And this is, it's kind of a road course oval, as it is very, very different than any other oval these drivers will face this season and quite possibly ever face. But it's very unique. We'll get into it here in a bit. But Carlin, we're joined in the booth by Jimmy Covert. Jimmy, back up here at the beautiful 2.5 mile Pocono Raceway.
Yeah, it's like you said, a very unique and different track. Been there personally myself quite a few times, and to watch some of the greats race around there. Still, when Richard Petty was out there racing, and all them, all them old boys at the classics, I guess you'd call them. But anyways, great racing up here at Pocono, 2.5 miles, and it comes with three distinct corners and very long straightaways in between.
Yeah, and 3 is kind of the number here tonight. Obviously, the very famous wall stating what turn 4. There's only 3 turns here. They don't label anything turn 4 here. It's 1, 2, and 3. But 3s are kind of wild here, as we've had 4 races so far in the season, 3 different winners. But those 3 winners are all at the top of the points. Michael Casey with 2 wins. He leads the points by 14 over Jason Chrisman. And then Brad Worley is another 13 points back. Timothy Ivey, Justin Spengler rounding out your top 5. But should be a pretty good sized field out here tonight. Currently looking at about 18 cars out there ready to take the green flag as we're just finishing up with qualifying. But while we got a chance, we're going to... just make sure our pre-race report, our pre-race driver is done with qualifying, so we'll pull in our pre-race and possibly in-race caution reporter here tonight. It's going to be the 64 of Paul Helms. Paul, first of all, welcome to the booth, and kind of the same question I usually ask everybody. You picked Pocono here for your race to come talk to us. What is it about Pocono you like that is just a spot that kind of filled in the schedule here, or is it a track that you really enjoy going to?
I actually kind of enjoy it now. I mean, I just started, I've been running on iRaces for about a year now and finally got into the Pocono racetracks and had a lot of fun. And I know we all had some talks about it, thought it put on some pretty good racing, a little bigger track, see how everybody does.
So I gotta ask you how you think the season's gone so far for you. Do you feel like it's kind of right where you expected it to be, ups or downs? What do you think it's gone so far?
I'm not the fastest out there. I like to be the most stable, even though I get stuck in the spin cycle quite a bit. I just like to see everybody get out, have fun, improve their racecraft, get better at it, get to try out different things. My season is going about as well as I can plan it out to be, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, so far through the season, I mean, you're inside the top 10 in points, or ninth in points with an average of a 10th place finish. So you're averaging a top 10 at the end of the week. But yeah, I mean, you did have some tracks on the schedule that can, kind of promote the spin cycle, especially last week at Dover. That was not exactly an easy test. You stay up here in the Northeast, but Pocono certainly has its little quirks and its little toughness out here too.
Oh yeah, we during our practice runs and everything, we all enjoy getting that launch off the chute turn and get that little boost of speed, and then that wall comes up real quick and it'll bite you real fast.
Absolutely.
But when you nail it just right and then you get the little wheel slide out of 3, it's all good then.
Yeah, it's amazing how much it just feels like you're about 3 seconds faster when you finally hit that corner the right way. But we'll wish you luck out there, and we'll let you get out there. I know you guys are gridding up, but before we let you go and get to the racing here, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Oh man, just everybody that helps put on 191, from admins to people showing up every week, you guys doing the broadcast, just interaction between everybody. I think we've got a really good crew here, and we keep getting bigger and better. So it's just everybody that's involved. I appreciate them showing up. Makes it fun to do.
Absolutely, buddy. Well, we see you got a pretty decent qualifying spot up there in the top 10. Once again, we'll see if you can finish in the top 10. And if we get any cautions, maybe we'll bring you in if it's a little bit of a lull. If not, we'll wish you good luck out there.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
That is the driver of the excuse me, the 64 Paul Helms as he's getting ready to take to the track here tonight, and should be a pretty good one, pretty interesting one out here tonight. And again, 18 cars here in the field, but a little bit of a backstory on Pocono if you're not sure. I mean, all three of these corners are completely different, but they're all modeled after existing tracks, or at least formerly existing. Turn 1 inspired by Trenton Speedway, Turn 2 by Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and then Turn 3 by the Milwaukee Mile, and obviously very famously dubbed the Tricky Triangle because it's shaped like a triangle, and it's very different. It's not a tri-oval. Doesn't like to be called a tri-oval. It's the Tricky Triangle here. We'll see what these drivers here in the 191 Motorsports can do here for 100 laps. As we're getting ready to take the green here, I'll just give you a quick rundown of our top 10 before we get going here. Cameron Craighead on the pole here tonight. Mike Casey, Timothy Ivey, Matthew Radford, Tony Brennan, Jason Chrisman, Paul Helms, Douglas Ivey, Brad Worley, and Foster Yates for your top 10 as we are green flag racing here on the front stretch. Long straightaway heading out into turn 1.
Yeah, definitely a long entry down into turn number 1, and it's always a good sight to see how wide that track is. And you're going to see probably throughout the night a lot of them cars be able to use different parts of the track. You're going to see them up high, you're going to see them down low. You might see some actually changing gears. Turn 1 is definitely unique and can be taken in many different ways.
Yeah, it's really just this first lap, feeling it out, letting the car tires temperatures come up and the pressures come up, because you can easily make a mistake here on this first lap just pushing, especially with all the cars together. The the aero upsetting the cars is definitely a thing here, especially going through turn number 2, the tunnel turn out there. It is not easy going through the first time. And already see 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 cars hitting the front stretch wall there coming out of turn number 3, and it's not exactly that banked of a track here. I mean, turn 1 is the most banking, but even turn 1 not exactly having that much banking here. So the coming out of the corners, you got to pay attention out of turn 2 and 3.
Yeah, it's Paul hit it pretty much right on the nail on the head. Coming out of 3, it's flatter, and you're trying to carry all that speed, and you're trying to get that slip angle to work here. And obviously, being the first time around there, and still tires coming up the temperature, here at Pocono. So this track does tend to eat some tires, and it's one where it's obviously the size of a super speedway, but you don't need to be together in order to pull away. One driver can get away by themselves here. It is difficult, as the draft is a big thing with these cars, but the right driver, right combo, they can just walk away here.
Yeah, it takes a little bit. I mean, you got long, you have the long pond straight that they're coming into after turn number 1 here, but you have the long front stretch as well, that you can really get some good drafting in, and you can stick with people for a while. But as quick as you're in and out of these turns, those turns are the biggest part where you can gain or lose by just how you run your car and how you use up or don't use your tires. And that's where you may see, if you get a long green flag going, like Jimmy said, you can see somebody checking out, or you can see some fields kind of breaking away if they decide to work together instead of racing each other hard. Right now it is Craighead out front, Timothy Ivey, Mike Casey, Matthew Radford, and Jason Chrisman for your top 5. Bradley Worley, Brennan, Sanchez, Helms, and Douglas Ivey for your top 10. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight, and shout out to all those already out there rooting on their drivers. See Brendan, Renee, Justin, and Volta Power out there rooting on their drivers, and we'll certainly try and get them their TV time if they don't earn it themselves out here. Good battle for the lead, but we'll take a look back through the field.
Yeah, definitely just kind of leaping through the field. It looks like everybody is pretty single file here, have a lot of laps. 100 laps. Oop, I heard somebody going
Heard some tires. Heard some tires. Looks like it's maybe towards the back, and it is going to bring out our first caution. Looks like Christopher Kurtz in the 51. Don't look like any damage that I noticed right off the rip there, but we'll take a look back and see what happened here. It's going through turn number 1, and looks like maybe got a little bit of help here from the 79 of Foster Yates.
Yeah, the 79 getting up in that left rear corner. Checking up, so he didn't continue, but almost got collected there by the 72, but 72 sneaks on by 51's going to go sliding up to the wall as he's continuing trying to get control of that car as it bangs up there just a little bit. So it might be some heavier damage than it appears. But the 51 and the 79 get together here on lap number 4.
And for how hard the back end and even the front end kind of smacked the wall there, I think it's definitely a nice little break for the 51 that he didn't get any kind of damage. We're going to get our first caution here. Only going to see the 51 of Christopher Kurtz come in to the pits here. So looks like everybody deciding, even though they've been out there for a couple laps, not to come in even for fuel. We will have a comp caution here tonight if we're not already under caution. It's going to be around the midway point as we typically have it, looking like around lap 64 here for the halfway break. But right now it is Cameron Craighead that is out there leading the way from the pole. Had a little bit of a battle there with Timothy Ivey in the beginning as Ivey once again up there and mixing up in the beginning of this race. We've seen him pretty much up there, I think, just about all season so far, trying to wrestle away the lead. But the man that you're seeing back there in the purple has been towards the top all season. It's why Michael Casey is your points leader coming in here tonight. But Matthew Radford certainly has shown some speed in the 97. Jason Crispin up there in the 98. I mean, I know we've seen almost a different winner every race, and we've seen some cars maybe a little more dominant than others, and that's why the top 3 in the series right now, all each with a win. Looks like we will have Jason Crispin drop into the pits here and Douglas Ivey. But I mean, really, it's that there's been a lot of parity. I mean, there's guys all throughout this field that you feel like just takes one little break, and we'll see them in victory lane next.
Yeah, I think obviously we've been seeing kind of a few drivers kind of poking their nose up front fairly regularly, and usually towards the end of the race, obviously the same drivers are kind of showing that it takes a little more than just like a sprint speed. So obviously the 6 of Michael Casey being able to come away with the most consistent finishes so far, being your points leader. But yeah, but there's a lot of good drivers throughout the field, and it's just when people want to take these chances here. And you can see I'll go ahead and bring up the tower here so you guys can see who kind of maybe decided to pit. So only 4 cars coming in, besides who was involved in the incident. So Jones and Pinkston there not making it out for the race. Is that just SDK being SDK? No, Daniel Pinkston is still in the pits. Is he our
I believe he is our in-race race control, and he's the one that kind of controls everything from behind the scenes. But he just joins the races just so he can do his adminning duties and everything like that. But yeah, it looks like we have 16-car field out there. I don't think we've seen James Jones out there at all in the 54. So looks like 16 cars in the field. The 51, Christopher Kurtz back out there showing right now in 14th. Looks like Jason Chrisman and Dale Garner have been in the pits for quite some time here. I didn't see any kind of issues, but we did see on that opening lap there, we've seen a few cars get up there and get a little friendly with the front stretch wall, and maybe that's the damage that's getting repaired right now. Should see the pace car lights out this time. We'll go green next time, so those drivers that are in the pits still should be coming out here, and they'll be able to rejoin the field before we get this thing back going.
Yeah, I'll get this thing going back to green and get some of these laps ticked off here. It's going to be a long one here tonight, 100 laps, total. We only have 7 laps down, so when we get going back to green, we will only have 8 laps completed. So plenty of racing. There's really kind of no rush to kind of make the move. It's just getting to the end and trying to survive. That comp caution is going to come, so you don't want to, there's no necessity. Obviously you want to try to learn the car and learn the line and see what works for you. But I think with that comp caution is even a kind of like just something that you need to make sure that you stay on that lead lap. So, doing everything you can, learning here, as that's what they do here at 191, kind of get together, race the best they can and keep on learning. There's a lot of things to learn, especially at a track, such as Pocono, with the uniqueness of the corners and the long straightaways and the different types of corners that they've got to tackle as the race goes on and the tires wear down. But it's going to be Cameron Craighead on the lead here with Timothy Ivey, Michael Casey, Matthew Radford, Bradley Worley, Tony Brennan, Joe Sanchez, Paul Helm still up there, Matthew Jordan, and Wade Inyart there for your top 10.
Yeah, so just a strategy, question for you, Jimmy. I mean, these drivers here, they have 5 sets of tires that they are limited for the race, which is a good amount, and it shouldn't be any kind of issues. But given the fact that they have the comp caution already set up at lap 65, I mean, you don't want to put yourself in a sketchy situation on some real old tires out there and end up, been in the car for no reason, basically. But, I mean, does that play into the strategy? Do you think, okay, well, let me just use, 1 set of tires, 2 at most, so that way I have majority of my tires for that second half of the race. If it ends up being, a couple cautions, I can have brand new tires every time.
I think that kind of has boiled down to why people decide to stay out. They know the comp caution's coming. Even if the drivers that actually went in there, you see the 4 people that went in, are able to stay out a couple extra laps, something happens. Here at Pocono, more than likely you're going to get back out still on the lead lap.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, even if you're damaged, like you've seen a few of the cars, out there staying in the pits for quite some time. I mean, Jason Chrism was in his pit stall for over a minute. Dale Garner almost in his pit stall for about a minute and a half. Didn't go down a lap because it is such a long track. I mean, it's a super speedway size. It's 2.5 miles here, and it's a long way around here under a caution. So plenty of time to get any kind of repairs done. I wouldn't say track position is paramount here because of so much straightaways here, so much ability to draft, and if you got a fast car, your way around here, you can make your moves and you can work your way through the field, even if you restart back in the back of the pack here. So, coming in there at whatever you feel like you need to. If you're giving up track position, it's not going to, I don't think, hurt you too much. But some good battling up front as Timothy Ivey again tried to get around Cameron Craighead. Looked like he had the pass completed, but Craighead fighting back and not giving up this lead here. Is at 58, looking mighty strong here in his debut.
Yeah, so somebody to fight with up there for a few of these drivers, and let's see the battle behind right there in front of Joe Sanchez with the 97 and the 88 of Bradley Worley. Give it a battle going down the front stretch. And you see them cones on the side on the fence. Sometimes they're hard to see on some of the other cameras, but you're sitting here on top of the cameras. If you look on the fence on the right side, you'll see the different cones that the drivers are using for distance checks, basically, as the corners are coming up. So there's 3, 2, and they should already be off the gas there by the 1, kind of bring that car down to the apex, hit the apex, get back on the throttle, just depending on who's alongside you and how hard you can get onto it. But right here, this turn number 3, very, very flat, and you can see a lot of drivers like to hug the inside, but you don't have to. So you see the 88 was on the outside here of Joe Sanchez, able to use that outside momentum. But you can see out front of Joe Sanchez, you can see the 15 went way down to the inside, trying to maybe catch a little bit of a draft from Cameron Craighead.
Yeah, Cameron looked like maybe trying to break the draft here a little bit, and maybe it's working because he's starting to stretch out here a little bit. And I see already Michael Casey maybe done waiting behind Timothy Ivey here as they're side by side for 2nd and 4th right now. And this has given Craighead a little bit of a chance to break away here, already out to almost a 2nd lead. So the more the 6 and 15 battle here, the easier it's going to be for Craighead to stretch out and get out of the drafting range out front. So we'll see, if and when these drivers can clear each other. The 15 still fighting hard, maybe even a little bump there from the 6. Going to send the 15 a little wide. It looks like the 6 maybe just clear, but the 24 now pushing the 15 down the front stretch as Sanchez up into 4th. But I do got to give a shout out to Justin out there, and kind of bringing up a good point. We talk about all the time that these drivers in the first quarter of the race, it's their time to kind of drive around the track and feel out the track in traffic and feel what the car wants to do and where does it feel comfortable, everything like that. But given kind of what we talked about with the tire strategy, first half of the race is a good chance to take a gamble, and maybe you come in there, you try out 2 tires and feel, how good are 2 tires? How rough is it to get around with the, does the back end want to really snap out? Is it really tough to drive, or is it something I can use maybe late in the race to gain that track position and maybe check out if it ends up being a green flag pitting situation in the ending stages? So it looks like 88 of Worley maybe scraping the wall here a little bit, but it's good battling up front. Timothy Ivey not wanting to relinquish second place, so he's going to stay there, but Cameron Craighead out to almost a 1-second lead out front. So we got Ivey in second, Sanchez now up into third, Casey, Worley, Radford, Chrisman, Helms, Jordan, and Brennan for your top 10.
Yeah, so basically people are starting to spread out just a little bit. Obviously, you've seen Cameron go ahead and start stepping it away by himself, breaking off that draft from a group of drivers, and now that group of drivers is starting to get a little concerned. So there you see them battling a little bit and allowing Cameron to kind of step out. But the 98 of Jason Crispin, we've seen that car, kind of be up towards the front in recent weeks already, and rocking the Snickers paint scheme this week. And right behind him, obviously, Paul Helms there in a 64. And then somebody that we talked a little bit last week and then had a rough ending there. Matthew Jordan, number 23, finds himself up 7 spots, Carl. I don't think he was one that had a time in, but maybe just pushing it a little bit hard for his qualifying and being able to have to start in the back. But a 23 having a pretty good run here so far, up 7 spots in the top 10.
Well, it's Pocono is one of those tracks where you feel like you nailed it. You nailed turn number 1. You get through turn number 2 with a ton of speed. You get 3/4 of the way through turn number 3, and you feel like, oh, this is going to be a nice lap. It's going to be perfect. Then all of a sudden, the car just starts drifting out and out and out, and it's either completely back out of it and save it and just put in a safe lap, or hope that it just sticks at some point without hitting the wall. And more often than not, you're going to find that outside wall, and you just tap it, you look at it the wrong way, and iRacing is going to give you a contact, and the lap is going to be negated. Not sure if that's what happened with Matthew Jordan, but I've done it many times myself, and I'm sure some of these drivers may have experienced it as well. It can happen so easily, and it sucks because as much as you don't like throwing away what could be a good lap in turn number 1, it's even worse when it's the last turn of the lap, and all you got to do is just get out of that corner and make a good run to the start finish line, and everything gets thrown away in an instant. But either way, making up for lost ground here, starting back there in 16th, already up to the top 10 here in 9th. So good job by the 23. But I mean, quite a few drivers up in the spots, and Matthew Jordan isn't the biggest mover of the race. It's that man in second place, and that is the 24 of Joe Sanchez, up 12 spots, started back in 14th position. So that 24 definitely making some inroads, and they have now reeled in your leader, Cameron Craighead. So Sanchez looking to go from 14th to the front.
Yeah, and maybe Sanchez, just kind of sitting back early. We talked about how sometimes drivers tend to try to make the car go as fast as possible all the time. And what that does is, basically that's, your qualifying laps. You burn the heck out of your tires. You use them up because you're only out there for a couple laps. And you don't want to do that for a race. Going back there, and especially on a longer green flag run, if you take care of your tires, your car doesn't necessarily come to life, but it comes to life compared to the other drivers out there because their tires are now overheated. They're probably smoking hot. I'll go ahead and pull up the weather here. I'll see what the track temperature is here. And you can see the track temperature is at 99 degrees, bottom right-hand side of the screen there. That's pretty warm. It's not super hot, but that's warm enough to keep them tires up, over that 250 degrees, closing in on 300. And I do know when the tires start reaching 280 to 300, they really they're greasy and they just push all over the place.
Well, the good thing is it is kind of the hottest part of the day right now, but I think we got a little bit of cloud cover right now because it actually started out at about 105 degrees, and it just crept back up into the triple digits here again, up to 100 degrees. But the track temperatures come down a little bit from the start of the race, but looks like we'll have mostly cloud cover for the majority of this race, and that's a good thing for the drivers. You want some heat in the track. You want some kind of grip out there, and sometimes you want a little bit so you can kind of get that rear end a little bit loose. You don't want it too loose. Obviously, we've seen plenty of drivers just completely lose it by themselves. But it's definitely driving 100% different than last week at Dover. Last week at Dover, it seemed like the drivers were really having to wrestle the cars coming out of the corner, especially out of turn number 4. It's a beast there at Dover. If you're newer to the track, or heck, even if you're a veteran, sometimes it can eat you real quickly. Here at Pocono, it is, you see what you have every corner. I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing that's going to change too much. The temperature, the wind direction usually doesn't do too much difference. You're gonna pretty much run the same line. It's usually kind of 2 different lines here at Pocono. You've seen the majority of the cars get down to the bottom of these corners, but you've also seen your leader Craighead using that upper line to hold off and defend for quite some time now. And it seems like that top line is definitely viable, at least through 1 and 2. But we do have a new leader at the front, and it's not Craighead, it's not Sanchez. It's your points leader, as the 6 of Casey is now doing battle here with Craighead. He's got the high line here. He's got a few cars behind him trying to draft. Looks like Craighead thought he could maybe squeeze in there, maybe getting a little side draft, as it's still not completed here. And we've seen this a couple times now. Craighead has had some drivers get up there and battle with him. Mm-hmm. They just cannot complete the pass. And once again, Craighead back to the front.
Yeah, and I think the drivers just kind of giving each other room and space too. You keep Craighead on his toes. Do not let him get away. Put the pressure on. Make him use up them tires. Make him use up the car. He obviously wants to be out front. And there's a lot, there's a bigger fish, to be had here. But the 24 looking to go down the inside. The 6 of Michael Casey going to follow along, but maybe split in the air between the two. Because he wants to go to the high side here, and that's going to give up him space. But the 24 of Joe Sanchez, man, can't talk tonight, definitely find himself out in the front here. So making that, the position is taken. Now he just needs to get back to the start-finish line. There's Craighead that definitely would like to get back out there. But 20 laps in the books out of 100. So a fifth of the way there. A little loose there by the 58, so you can probably tell that the 58 has, just with that snap of the rear of his rear that I just seen, would tell me that Craig's tires are pretty much beat. And as a driver, as a 24, if I'm looking in the mirror, I see that, I know that. As Casey looks on to the 58, he sees that, he now knows that. So that's where they can start taking advantage if Craig does not manage his tires and start to bring them temperatures down just a little bit. Maybe taking on a lesser aggressive line in the corners, whatever he can to bring just a couple degrees down, get them tires to settle down, because if not, he's going to find that 58 moving backwards.
Well, the only question I would have is if that's not the case, if it's not the case that the tires are worn from him driving hard, could it be the reason why he wanted to stay out front is he's not getting clean air on the front of that car now, and now all of a sudden he's finding his first time behind another car, and the aero affects these cars more than track temperature, more than wind, more than really anything else, other than tires wearing down as a 6 with a big impact out of turn number 3 there. But I mean, you're so many laps in front with Craighead. Now all of a sudden, this is his first chance to ride behind another car going into some of these corners, and the car is going to want to push, and that's what I think you've seen coming out of turn number 2. As it pushed up to the wall, he kind of had to get out of it and really snap loose on him. But you see again, he's already right behind the 24. He's hunting. He wants to get back to the lead. He wants that fresh air onto the front of the car to help him turn the way he's comfortable through these corners. But right now, they're all chasing Sanchez as Craighead, Casey, Timothy Ivey, Radford for your top 5. Chrisman, Worley, Helms, Jordan, and Brennan for your top 10.
Yeah, looking good so far here. We're at 22 laps of 100. I did not get a chance to get out there and get any laps in to kind of see what kind of laps they need before they're looking at Craighead tagging that wall before they need to make that green flag pit stop. But so far, the big battle is obviously up here up front, but we got other ones battling here with Matthew Jordan following Paul Helms and Bradley Worley here. As these three continue to battle back and forth. It's been these three pretty much in the middle of the pack. This is 7, 8, and 9. Obviously, a very tender spot on the battlefield here, as I call it, with these three drivers all driving different lanes, all have different entries going into one to make that work for them here at Pocono. And then obviously back here with Wade and Foster Yates and Dale Garner Jr. all battling out. So another battle of three. So got a few packs of battles here around the track, looking to continue going here. And I think you're going to see either these three packs kind of stay together, or you're going to see them kind of spread out. Things can change up just a little bit, but definitely looking to be a good race here so far as we're hit that 24 lap mark.
I was wondering there for a little bit if it was a 4-car breakaway at the front, but you see we're losing one car, and that's Timothy Ivey, and I'm wondering if maybe he is falling into the realm of either just trying to save right now, or maybe he did run his tires a little bit too hard as he was trying to get to the lead around Craig Ed early on in this race, because he's definitely dropping off the back of this pack, and he's kind of smack dab in the middle of the two battles now. There's a 3-car breakaway, and then there was basically a 3-4-car breakaway in between, or right behind him, but they're starting to reel him in now, and he's about to join that pack here, as well as now Matthew Radford is right behind him, as you see the 97 looking to the inside. And actually this is now broken up here a little bit as well, so it's only a 2-car breakaway here. I'm sure the 15 is more than happy to just tuck in behind the 97 here and just draft a little bit to click a few more laps off, as we're only just about coming up on a quarter of the way distance in this race. We're on lap number 24 right now. The 24 is in the lead and doing a great job, up 13 spots from the start. Matthew Jordan up 7 spots, still in 9th place. Dale Garner, another one, up 7 spots, started shotgun on the field. And I mean, technically up 7 spots, as obviously we don't have Bankston or Jones here in the field, but either way, up 5 spots technically from the start. So good job here for the 31 out there. And really, from all this field, we had the early incident there with the 79 just getting into the side of the 51, spinning him around, but really very little damage. I think the most damage done to the cars tonight has been coming out of that tricky turn number 3.
Yeah, 3 is definitely action-packed. Even in real life, I've had tickets in that corner, in the stands, for many races, for a NASCAR race, for an ARCA race. Definitely great viewing coming out of 3. A lot of things happen there. I've seen Davey Allison wreck the number 28 Havoline Ford there. Bad of accident in this hood. I remember his hood flying in the air, probably about 200 feet. It was something you don't quite forget, but definitely a lot of action coming out of 3. I've also been down in the infield, down in the turn number 1 a few times as well. So when they used to allow U-Hauls down in the infield there, and everybody be sitting on top of them, so quite a sight to see with a bunch of NASCAR fans. As I know that a lot of NASCAR fans, and I know actually Dale Earnhardt Jr. doing some inside work trying to get things kind of back the way they used to be, try to get some life back into NASCAR, as it's kind of been dying off just a little bit, trying to bring it back to life a little bit. And if there's one person that can do it, it's probably that last name of Earnhardt. Yeah,
absolutely. I myself had some experiences up here at Pocono, going to a few NASCAR races up here. Did get to see a few years ago what's probably going to be the last IndyCar race here at Pocono, because they reluctantly came back to Pocono after the a few drivers were not exactly happy about just the speeds that they carry here and the aero package and everything like that. And then they come back and they have a few more big crashes, and I think it's probably unfortunately the last we're going to see of Indy cars at Pocono. But fantastic experience, and man, it's amazing, and it's an awesome sound to hear those Indy cars around here. I wish there was a way that the aero package for IndyCar could somehow be transferred over to NASCAR, so there's a little bit more passing, because there was tons of passing going on, because IndyCars can draft so well, and they can make passes so well. But I mean, you see here, virtually back here with the Gen 6 cars, you can definitely get a good draft going down the straightaways here and make some passes. So at least we're seeing some action out here tonight, but unfortunately more often than not, and at Pocono, and and it's quite a few races there. It's just a lot of single file racing, and it can get boring real quick. But plenty of action here tonight. But definitely keeping an eye on the 97 here, holding off the 15. It seems it looked for a little bit there that they might have been trying to run down that top three, but the top three really just seem like they're on a different level right now with Sanchez, Casey, and Craighead stretching out. They are 4 seconds right now ahead of Radford in fourth, Ivy in fifth, but really it doesn't matter at this point. It doesn't matter if, Radford and Ivy fall back 13, 20 seconds, because we will have the cop caution coming up here. So there's no sense of, driving the wheels off the car right now or getting yourself in a bad situation. It's still quite a few ways away. I mean, we're still only on lap number 29 right now, and that cop caution isn't until lap 65. So there's plenty of time for it to come out, but they're not losing that much time that it's really concerned. I mean, even at the back of the pack right now, the driver towards the back right now is Douglas Ivy. He is already a lap down, as is Garner. But I don't know if they're going slow enough that the leaders would actually catch them on pace as well. You see the 72 right now is kind of last in line with Scott Henderson. It's going into turn number 1 right now. Your leaders still have yet to go into turn number 3, so it's a big distance to make up in 30 laps. Could be done, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully this thing stays green, and we can maybe see some green flag pit stops before we get to that comp caution.
Well, yeah, the one thing I did notice, though, is that Douglas Ivy and Dale Garner Jr. have both pitted. Douglas came in at lap 22, and Dale came in at lap 27. So definitely, I think they were amongst the couple cars that were actually in on lap 5 as well, because I only see 2 cars that were still remaining that were out, or that came in on lap 5. One being Jason Chrisman, currently sitting in P number 6. So moving forward in the number 98 here, now over person almost to that third of the way complete here as we're on lap 31. So doing a great job using that little bit here, but maybe pit stops on the horizon here for everybody as the 58 comes on in along. Looks like Henderson is also in as well. Scott Henderson is already sitting there, as it looks like he's already done with his pit stop. He's going to get that 72 back out there, but Craighead in the pits. Oh, overshoots the box, Carl. That's going to be big, kind of on track.
Well, and that's going to be another thing with, I'm not surprised that Craig is the first one in here. One, he was starting to lose time here a little bit, but I'm wondering how much more fuel he burned up from leading so many of those laps and from fighting. But yeah, certainly green flag pit stops, you don't want to blow through your box. I know we do have the comp caution, and you're good to go there. You're not going to really lose that much time because everybody's going to get grouped back together here, but you still want to keep touching. You still want to be up there, and you still want to be battling, and you never know, maybe the caution will come out and save everybody anyway. But this is actually not good at all for Craighead, because now
he just came out though. He's still in the lead lap.
He's on the lead lap, but all these drivers here are going to get a free pit stop. They're going to be able to get the fresher tires than he will by at least a couple laps here. So, I mean, again, it's going to take us to the comp caution. Hopefully, green all the way into the comp caution. But we'll take a look back here and see what actually brought out the yellow for this one. I was trying to see anything on the track, but I didn't really see anything unless it was somebody that just came out.
Let me pull up the hood here. It looks like our race control has thrown the caution, so not quite sure for what. So we'd have to get in touch with race control in order to figure out. But everything looks like it's good on the track, everybody. So caution coming out here on lap 33. Maybe decided to pull that comp caution early. That was definitely some great racing out there, and it is during their pit cycle, so nobody would kind of benefit or lose out. Garner is going to be able to get the lucky dog, I believe, which is, I thought Ivy was in front of Gardner, but I guess that changed somewhere.
But, we'll see how everything shakes out here. Yeah, it's definitely a little question mark on a couple things here, but yeah, either way, we're gonna have a caution. Maybe we got confused, and it was 64 laps to go instead of lap 64. But either way, we'll have a caution here. I didn't see anything looking around, so yeah, not sure what exactly brought this one out. If somebody spun coming out of the pits that we missed, but either way, this is going to be a time for everyone to come in. I would assume we'll probably see the top 12 drivers come in. The rest of the field already making a pit stop, but I wouldn't be surprised if the other ones there decide to come in as well. Maybe not so much for Craighead. He'll probably want to stay out there, move on up through the field.
Well, Craighead's on the lead lap, so I mean the only person coming that would get a wave around would be whoever's the lucky dog, because
Right,
Craighead's still well, everybody's in front of him, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Craighead, I could see him staying out and moving all the way back up to the lead of this race. But I wouldn't be surprised to see everybody else come into the pits if they didn't have the lucky dog. And sure enough, here comes pretty much the entire field down pit road. Looks like the 3185 are going to stay out there, get that wave around, and hopefully I believe that should get them back on the lead. I think they're only down one lap. Yeah, it looks like Garner, Ivy, and Anderson were down a one lap, and they should be back on the lead now with a wave around. But we'll see who's going to win the race off pit road. And as I say, I would not be surprised if everyone coming in right now took 4 tires just to get them to the stage break here.
Oh yeah, they're taking 4. There ain't no way with 5 sets of tires. I'm taking 2 tires.
Yeah, I mean, you can try and take a gamble at this point. You got plenty of time, but I mean, with 2 tires, it's not bad.
24, and then 97 maybe. See how that fans out there as everybody else comes off pit lane here. Definitely interesting here, but yeah, it looked like a good one off of pit road here. Craighead's going to end up banging back out in the lead, and he's not going to complain about that too much. You see the 31 and 85 are both waiting patiently to get around that pace car. So, yeah, definitely going to be a tough one from them. Obviously they want the wave around, but the fuel, I'm sure, is at a premium, so might find them coming in a lot sooner than later. But it looks like
it's situation too, where I mean they just gotta last those 30-some laps. Mm-hmm. Even if they do need to come in and take an early pit stop, they should be able to come back out and stay on the lead lap with how big this track is. But we got a chance here, and actually, let's see if we may have a caution was for contact between Gardner and Ivy. Okay. Looks like Ivy pulled off a heck of a save to keep this thing under control. But we got a chance here. We'll pull in our in-race and pre-race reporter here, the driver of the 64, Paul Helms. So, Paul, you've gotten through a little bit more than a third of the race now so far. It looks like you're keeping that 64 clean, which is definitely a big plus. But it seems like a lot of drivers having some trouble coming out of turn number 3 and pushing out to that wall.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite turn on this track. Is if you can catch it just right, you can get a little power slide almost up to the wall and not tag it. But yeah, it seems like everybody seems to have a little bit of fun coming out of there one way or another.
So you guys are about halfway to the comp caution here. I mean, any kind of ideas, any plans right now for this? Kind of the second half of the first half, if you will. I guess the second quarter of this race. Any ideas? Or are you just trying to hang in there and just preserve this car for the ending?
Trying to just preserve it as best I can, save my tires the best I can, and not speed in the pits would probably be one of my better plans for the rest of this race. I got distracted.
It wasn't us.
Exactly.
Oh, no, I don't believe that.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll let you get back out to it, and wish you luck for the second half of this little run before the comp caution. Maybe we'll talk to you once that comes as well.
Absolutely, guys.
That is the driver of the 64, Paul Helms, as he's currently running in 13th position, just outside the top 10, but back out front. Cameron Craighead is going to be your leader, and the control car for this one got 3 lap older tires than everyone else, but really no green flag laps on those tires. Joe Sanchez, Matthew Radford, Michael Casey.
May have just enough heat to be kind of dangerous, like take off and gone. You might see a huge gap from the number 58, yeah, because he got out there, was able to kind of warm up them tires, for that lap and a half. But the 58 going to get on it here. Going to take these drivers down into turn number 1. But Joe Sanchez is not wanting him to go anywhere. Has a small lead on the outside here, coming down the front strip.
Yeah, really got up through the gears better than the 58, and he's going to clear him down into turn number 1, and the 24 back to the front, and that's not what the 58 wanted to see, because now he's going to have to deal with that dirty Harry here once again. Looks like everybody making it through turn number 1, already single filing it for the most part, but you see a bit of a 3-car breakaway here once again, and I don't think that's what the rest of the field wants to see, as you see the 97 of Radford now trying to get up here in the mix.
Yeah, 97 of Radford doing a fantastic job. They had a fantastic pit entry, pit exit, get in and get out, made a few positions, finds himself in P number 4, right behind Michael Casey and then number 6.
15 loose. Big impact right there into the wall. And got to watch, I'm not sure if some guys got sent down pit road there as well. As I seen the 15 get loose and then they just get hooked right across the front. Looks like the 79, the 85, and the 64 all get sent down pit road. We'll see if the in-race control here will clear their penalties for unsafe entry, but definitely seen that one developing here. As it looks like the 23 maybe just tagging the 15 a little bit. Seemed like he had it saved, and then I think those tires were just a little bit too angry. Comes down into Bradley Worley, and then big impact with the 13.
Ooh, that one ugly.
And that is certainly not going to feel good for either the 13, but especially for the 15 of Timothy Ivey. And you see these cars right here just trying to take evasive maneuvers. That's not how you take evasive maneuvers, though. The 64.
He's win the pit 64.
I mean, that is not how we wanted to talk to Paul Helms right there. We're going to let him collect his thoughts there a little bit.
Too frustrated at that one. That was horrible. I can see him like, no, I don't want to get in the pits. I'll get us penalty. And then turn right and just turning.
It would not turn. It would not turn right at all for him.
That was not what you want to see. That's painful. And I've been in those situations where you try to do the right thing, and we'll even hop on top here of the 64 fourth head incident just to show you how fast the drivers need to make a decision. He's coming up to speed right now. You can see the crash happening. He goes down to the inside. And he's like, oh no, I don't want it. Oh, too late. So it's just that quick. There's nothing you can do. You make a decision. You heard the car explode. So definitely tough break for the 64. So hopefully he's able to get that fast repair, get back out there and get back in the fight here. As we still have plenty of racing to go. We're only on lap 38 of 100. Right now, Joe Sanchez is up front with Cameron Craighead, Michael Casey, Matthew Radford, and Matthew Jordan.
Yeah, we'll have to. We'll give Paul some time. Well, I'm sure he'll have to go through some safety protocol and maybe be the infield care center next time we talk to him after that one. That was pretty vicious right there, and going to need to tow that car back to pit lane and use a fast repair. As these drivers do have 2 fast repairs that they can use for the race, and I don't think Paul's had to use one by the sound of it last time we talked to him. He might have to use one. I'm just guessing. I'm in no shot at his crew members or anything like that, but yeah, they're not that good. Let's just put it that way. They'll be lucky enough to run down the end of the pit lane.
I blame the spotter. He told him to go right, and he told him to go left, and Paul was like, no, I'm going right. But hey, just want to also give a shout out to all of the fans out there obviously watching. Again, see some of the newcomers, Mustang Cobra Boy out there saying hello, along with Neon and Norseman as well. So definitely it's good to see everybody out there chatting it up. Don't be afraid to put the car that you're rooting for out there. It's always fun to see who's rooting for who, and I will try to do my best and spread the love in camera time, even if your driver's all by themselves or if they're having a bad moment. We'll try to get on board with them to see how they are doing, to share the experience with you out there. So just a fun race here tonight at Pocono. We're on lap 38 of 100 with Joe Sanchez as your leader.
Yeah, Justin, not sure if he made the 710 there or not, but I almost feel like the entire field had their hand up, and he was going for the 5-pin. He was not going to miss that 5-pin. He was not buying everybody drinks as he sent that thing right down the middle for sure. But looks like the 64 is back out there, so congrats to him, to the crew, to the infield care center for getting him back out there. He is going to be at the back of the field. He's going to have some work to do, as I believe he is 1 lap down. Yeah, he is 1 lap down, but he's the only car lap down as well. So hopefully he'll be able to get. If he gets a quick caution, he'll be right back at it. But at the very least, he's got that comp caution out there as well. So as long as nobody else goes down a lap, he'll be able to get right back in it. So again, he's clean again. So he's just got to keep that thing clean, a little bit cleaner than that one right there. I mean, it was a clean hit. So I guess I give him that.
It's almost why I wanted to yell like score, because I mean it was just right down the middle. It was a very undecisive, very bad moment for the 64. I mean, that's just.
If you're gonna do it right.
He did do it right. I mean, took it right down the middle. I mean, can't ask for any better than trying to go bowling here at Pocono. Yeah, so we're gonna try to keep it clean the rest of the race there for the 64. He's gonna get back on the lead lap and he's gonna have a great finish. I know it. But right now, Joe Sanchez is having a great race here with Cameron Craighead on the outside. So can Cameron use that outside as well as a 24 did just a few laps ago?
We're about to find out as we'll head through turn number 3 here. One more time, we're going to get the green flag this time as that pace car is going to pull off to the left. It's going to be in control here from the 24. We'll see if he can do as well as he did last time. I mean, last time he really got up through the gears a lot better than it seemed like everybody else, let alone Craighead at the front. And already see the field spreading out here, 3, maybe 4 wide there in the back, working around the 51 back there. Still going to be side-by-siding heading down into turn number 1. Slight advantage for the 24, but Craighead doesn't mind being on that outside either. He has used that line for quite some time here this race. Going to get a good run off the corner. We'll see if he mounts any kind of charge into turn number 2.
Yeah, and you can see the 24 was able to clear the 58 and come up in front of him as they came off of 1. So almost like an asphalt slider there, as you can use that inside to their advantage. They're able to get that move done, but got some moves being made back here. Seeing the 98 of Jason Christman now moving up into P number 5, getting around the 88 of Worley. Worley tucked down to that inside, looking to get the advantage coming off the corner. Falls back just a little bit. You see everybody's sliding out a little bit. Looks like everybody's able to keep it off of that treacherous turn number 3, but you can see in the front, snaking down the front stretch, trying to break the draft. I love when drivers do that. It's almost annoying. You're following somebody like, just hold still.
I don't know what was funnier, watching the snake coming down the front stretch here, or watching 3, 4, 5 cars coming out of turn number 3, and you see them have that extra little left-hand turn after they get out of turn 3 because they're still turning so hard, hoping to stay off of that wall. And you just see the extra little bit of left. They're not just going to keep it straight coming out of there because they're afraid of that wall. I don't blame them, but yeah, it definitely happens in these NASCARs. It happens in whatever cars we see here at Pocono. A lot of times that leader taking them all the way down to the checker flag there on the front stretch to try and break that draft. There's a big moment there. Or moments, I should say, by the 97 there. Radford collects it, gets back up in line just in front of the 88, but the 88's going to step right out.
Folks. Nothing happened here.
Yeah, nothing to see. Nothing to see. Right back in line here. But that was a heck of saves there by the 97.
I mean, the Pens needs a sponsor this season, and definitely you might want to look them up, as the Allies were having one heck of a moment there, hoping to stay off the inside wall down the front stretch. Able to do so, and that number 897 keeping things green here, but losing just a spot. But the 88 will take up that spot of Bradley Worley, now moving up into P number 5, up 4 positions. So 88 moving forward here, looking for a great finish. A lot of drivers up quite a few spots. Scott Henderson, haven't talked about the 72 very much here, but has found themselves up 9 spots, currently in P number 8, so having a great run. We've seen Dale Garner Jr. not too long ago, a lap down. Now sitting in P number 9, 9 spots up from the start, so the 31 having a great race here as well. But the man that they are all chasing right now is Joe Sanchez, and that number 24. Looks like the Jeff Gordon throwback there, Alta Machine. Just trying to get a great run here as everybody is chasing him here tonight.
Yeah, and it seems like since he's gotten out front, whether he wanted to or not, he's kind of stretching this field out. Back when Craighead was out front, I wouldn't say he was necessarily holding up the field, but the top three were a lot tighter. Now since Sanchez has taken the lead here, he's kind of stretching out that pace a little bit, and Craighead just kind of seems like he's holding on for dear life, just has a tow rope out there trying to hold on to the back of the 24, but even the 6 there, Michael Casey kind of falling back a little bit. It could be a little bit of, just relaxing here by the drivers and just kind of holding back here, knowing that the comp caution is about 20 laps away. But certainly, back here in the Beehive and the Hornet's Nest, there's always action going on here. In the middle of the pack, there's always 2, 3, 4 cars side by side.
Yeah, they're always. That's like I said. I love this part of the field, and the drivers. They're probably the ones that, if they're happy back here, is kind of strange, but they're usually ones that will they're like, yo, what are you doing that for? Knock it off. And there's usually a lot of bickering, but it's the Beehive, it's the Nest, it's the Battle Zone. I love this part of the track. This is where everybody's, like I said, they're learning. Somebody's got a great track. A fast driver had first couple laps, so they got to come up through it. It is it's a nightmare for a lot of tracks. Not doing too bad of a job, though. Some good battle in here between the 31 and the 13. You can see him trying to get down the inside. You see Matthew Jordan back there in the number 23 back in the 12th. We've seen him up in the top 5 earlier. So trying to get that 23 back up to the front yet again, trying to go down to the inside of the 31 as they go down to turn number 1.
And for those that are wondering, because I was trying to figure it out myself, that 13 is actually the 65 on the time and scoring. So that is actually Tony Brennan there.
Fix your number.
If you're trying to figure out who that is, I was trying to figure it out myself. But yeah, I do see one other thing too, is I see that 64 just kind of hanging on to the back of this pack too. He's seemed to be maybe a little bit more racy and really just trying to stay up with these guys. One, he wants to stay up there in that lucky dog position, but maybe that incident, sometimes you need a little incident to wake you up and get you out of that comfort zone and give you a little bit of anger and makes you drive a little bit harder and you pick up a few more positions. As was close there for the 31 coming out of turn number 3, and even back there with the 85. Field's definitely spread out here a little bit as we're on lap number 45 of 100, and I want to send a thank you out to everyone out there and CRN Nation. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe, get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. But also want to send a thank you out to the sponsors here for the series as well, Kim's Cups and More, and One Vision EMS and Transports for their support here of the series, as the man behind the series here is going to be the one getting into the 58 there. I was about to say Michael Casey about to make a move for second, actually for third, but the 6 is going to get into the 58.
Oh, I hate when they do that. 58 in a rush to get back turned around. Caution flag is out here on lap 47 as he got turned there by, looks like the 6. We're going to go ahead and take an overhead view, kind of see what happened here. We'll speed it up here.
See if there was more of the sand. Looks like the 6 did come up there a little bit.
Yep.
And enter the 58, maybe trying to get a little side draft to try and get the pass done. And unfortunately ends up hooking the 58 here, sliding him down towards turn number 3, backs it into the wall here a little bit. Again, looks like these cars are pretty dang durable here tonight. I mean, there's again another situation here where the 58 got into the wall pretty hard with that back end, but I don't see hardly any damage done. I think the exit of turn 3 is doing more damage to these cars than they are backing him into the wall. But he's going to get that 58 turned back around here, kept it on the access road at least. With all those cars coming at you right there, was bold strategy by firing it back up here and getting it back going. But luckily, he kept it down underneath there. But it is going to give should be giving Paul Helms his lap back here as well.
Yeah, Paul Helms will go ahead and get his lap back, not being involved here. So get that lucky dog out of the way, so not behind the power curve when the caution or the comp caution comes out. 58's going to stay on the lead lap. Is going to be able to come down, get the car fixed. Up to him whether he takes tires or not, but has the ability to move up through the field. So now it's going to be watching the 58 kind of come through. There's going to be some he's been up front all race and now finds himself towards the middle of the pack, of the back of the pack. He's got to be in the beehive. He's got to come up through that. He's got to make things happen, but he's got to be smart about it. And it all starts here with a pit stop and what decision they decide to take. Using a faster pair of new tires, filling up on fuel, and make sure they can get all the way to that halfway mark. But some drivers obviously know they can make it already. So Joe Sanchez out front with Wade Inyart in the number 21 car right behind him. So a few drivers decide to stay out. Wade, we haven't talked about Wade very much. He's been in the back a little bit battling, but finds himself up front here right before the comp caution about to come out. Timothy Ivey in the 15. We've seen him up front. He was kind of looked like he was taking some jabs to lead there for a little bit, and then found himself back just a little bit. Foster Yates obviously was involved in an incident early on in the race, and is currently sitting in P number 4. Christopher Kurtz in the 51, the Palmania machine. He was obviously involved in the very first incident right there, but all the way up to P number 5, so a great run. Matthew Jordan has found himself in a few incidents here tonight, but already back up into P number 6, so doing well with his decision so far. 97 of Matthew Radford, down a couple spots, but seen some strides there by the Ally machine here tonight as well. Jason Crispin, 98. Obviously, we've seen some good moments from him so far tonight as well. Bradley Worley with some pretty good news. Michael Casey, I'm sure, is taking the very apologetic route on that last one from Cameron. Dale Garner Jr. up 7 spots. Was a lap down. Now back in the lead lap, so making his way back up to that top 10. Tony Brennan there in a number 65, 13 on track. Started off well as down 7 spots, so maybe not the race that they wanted so far here, but we're only at that halfway mark. Carl and the rest of the field is going to be Scott Henderson. Paul Helms, our in-race reporter, back on that lead lap. Cameron Craighead out there as well. Douglas Ivey, James Jones for your 17-car field. James, I don't think has been out from the track, but maybe he will next week. But the 54 you see right there on the TV screen, that is his car. So maybe we'll see James next week. But right now, let's go back to Carl.
Did get word that Race Control is going to be issuing an EOL to that number 6 for causing the incident there. So Casey going to be sent to the back. Well, we got a quick second here. We're going to bring in driver of the 64, Paul Helms. I guess the only question I have, Paul, is what was quicker, the crew getting that car back together, or you passing the concussion protocol there in the infield there? I mean, that was the quickest turnaround. Did you lie on the test and get it back out there? Or are you dealing with concussion symptoms right now?
Walking out with the steering wheel out of his chest.
Hey, we're not going to talk about what I had to tell them to get back out here, okay? And I don't want to hear nothing about my car looks clean at this point.
He washed it off with them water barrels.
I know it.
Just make sure you grab your teeth out of the front windshield there. But other than that, she'll be good.
No, I saw him get down to the inside, somebody to my outside, and I was like, I don't want to ruin anybody else's race. I'll just ruin my own. Might as well.
Well, listen, like I said on the broadcast, if you're going to do it well. And that is
yes, sir.
All right, buddy, we'll send you back out there, and I wish you a little bit better luck here for the rest of the race.
All right, thank you.
Driver of the 64 there, Paul Helms. We're going to get this thing back underway here, and we are close to the halfway point here as we're going to be completing lap number 49 here this time by. It's in control here by Joe Sanchez. We're back racing here at Pocono. Sanchez and Ivy on that front row. Tear off, looking to go down into turn number 1. You see some jockeying already back here in the back of the pack, but Sanchez is going to lead him down into turn 1.
Yeah, 64 letting up just a little bit. Not sure what some of them outside cars are going to do, so probably a good call there from the 64 trying to continue the rest of this race, but had a heck of a run coming on front stretch. He probably could have grabbed another spot or two, but finds himself back there in P14. So just kind of warming stuff up again here. We'll get back out front here with Joe Sanchez as he's got a nice lead as Foster Yates and Timothy Ivey kind of taking up that P2 and 3, but a lot of battling going on. Some different drivers up front here, Carl. Looking to go 3 wide coming out of the tunnel turn.
Well, and certainly keep an eye on that 23 as we're going to have another issue here. The 88 is going to go around, but I was going to say keep an eye on that 23 because we talked about the pit stops going on, and the 23 was the first one out of the pits, and I believe he only took 2 tires as well. So gained a bunch of positions there, did the 23, but it's going to lose a lot of positions, and I definitely finally see some damage on a car from getting into the wall. The 88 of Worley, that was just a lot of cars under one spot right there. Looks like the 15 and the 23 got on the wall, but the 88 got on the wall the hardest. Into the 58 just a little bit. But that wasn't really where the damage came from as he's sliding down the front stretch here. I think it was the 51 that came in here and made sure that this was a yellow for sure.
We'll just hop on board because this is what the 51 sees. It's like line them up, thinks about it, but the 88 just bouncing off the wall. He's going to go for a ride as they goes up
almost
on 2
up and over.
Almost. Massive
but
damage.
Some big damage there to the front of the 51, and definitely going to need a fast repair. If he can even limp that thing back to the pits is the question. Not sure if that blew the engine. I didn't hear it, but the front end is definitely jacked up really bad there on the 51. So if he can limp it back, that would definitely save him and keep him on that lead lap. But if not, he may have to tow it back there, go down a lap or 2, and get that fast repair. As you see, one tire still pointing in the right direction, but that other one was definitely up in the air for quite some time. I guess it was up in the air, so it wasn't taking a lot of wear while it was up there. But
we can use that for hot laps.
Yeah, Justin, I agree that's not going to buff out for sure.
Get out the duct tape. We'll put this thing back on the track. Now, so tough luck there for the 51, obviously, as we're here just getting past the halfway mark here. We're on now lap 52 of 100. A few drivers will be coming in. The infamous comp caution will be coming out, so I'm sure a lot of drivers will be looking to maybe stay out, get that good finish there, and be able to start whenever and after that comp caution comes out. So the 79 doing a pretty decent job staying up there along with the Ivy. Joe Sanchez continuing to show that the number 24 machine might be the car to beat tonight. Then back there, 98 of Jason Chrisman in 4th, and Matthew Jordan in the number 23 car back there in 5th. So a lot of different drivers kind of mixed it up, but definitely, drivers, taking their lumps, when they had to. Obviously, Cameron Craighead involved in an incident with Michael Casey. Michael Casey serving his lumps here early, as now he has to come up through the battlefield. So the 6 definitely has the speed, definitely has the talent, and following Cameron Craighead, and that's a race and a battle I'm sure we have not seen the last of here tonight at Pocono.
Plenty of racing here to go. We're just past the halfway point, so we'll see how this whole thing plays out. Definitely seems like the 24 is very fast out there, but we've seen cautions kind of really mix up the field here. We see now Foster Yates up there in second place. Timothy Ivy's kind of been back and forth, but he definitely has the pace that he's been trying to get up towards the front as well. Jason Chrisman's had the 98 up there. Matthew Jordan again with I believe 2 tires, if not just fuel only, but he's seen him pretty racy on the outside there, so I'm assuming he took 2 right side tires on the previous pit stop, maybe testing it out for the second half of the race, and it seems like it was working pretty well before the caution came out, and was able to just barely keep it off the outside wall when they were 3 wide coming onto the front stretch. Cameron Craighead has definitely had a fast car as well. He's qualified on the pole and led a bunch of laps here in the beginning, but he's got to fight his way back now after getting in that little skirmish with the 6. Finds himself now in 6th position, trying to work his way back up. So a lot of good cars right now that we've seen towards the back have to battle their way back up through the field right now with these cautions kind of coming out the way they are. But the 24 right now is exactly where he wants to be. He's up 13 spots. He seemed very racy here tonight. It's going to be tough to beat that 24 right here. And especially he's got the restart in hand. He's got the control here as though they'll head onto the long pond straight. We'll get the green flag this time by. And it should be about 10 laps or so before we get to the comp caution.
Yeah, comp caution will be in the air. Hopefully it's random and nobody knows what it is, and that's my favorite. Obviously, I'm not sure. I don't think they do like points or anything for like if somebody's leading the comp caution, but like a stage break. I always disagreed with stage breaks, but something that they put in NASCAR, hopefully they get rid of it. Go back to just the way it used to be back in the early 90s. I really do think the points chasing and stuff was just a kind of a downer. But you know, obviously people don't like change, so there was some resistance, but it is what it is now. So hopefully they can just reignite the fire that's actually out there for NASCAR, because there is a lot of drivers, a lot of fans, and it is a lot of fun to actually go to the track. So definitely would not mind visiting. I do go to the local track down here in Pensacola, Florida, down to the Five Flags Raceway, and I need to actually see what local stuff's going on here, because I need to get over there. And maybe not the next weekend, because I got a race myself at the Spa 24, but maybe the following week. But right now, it's going to be Joe Sanchez on the green pedal here as they head down the front stretch for lap number 54.
Yeah, and a little close there between the 15 and 79 down the front stretch. You see the 58 sliding over in front of the 6 as well. Looking for positions here. Going to look 3 wide down on the inside as they'll battle for just outside the top 5, maybe even 4 wide back there behind the 15. Getting real close. The 58 is gonna possibly cause this one's gonna be a bit of a big one here.
Oh, there's a tumbler. 79 went tumbling.
Let's take a look at that one again. Certainly 3-4 cars involved in this one.
Big wreck here on another caution. Yeah. So we'll go back above head and see what happened here. This is, I think, farther. That's already. Oops. Not speed up. So you can see the 79
that was
right there.
It's a good look at the 79 getting sent up and around there by the 72.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and fast forward this here. Go back up here to I think it was the 98.
58, and yeah, that was almost 4 wide there.
Yeah, 58 coming up and tagging the 98. 98 getting in the 79. 23 checking up a little bit, and the 6 avoiding, but the 98 nowhere to go. 23 trying to slow down. 23 misses.
Yeah, how about the 23? Yeah, and I did see that when it actually happened. The 23 did a fantastic job missing that incident right there, as the 98 was showing every side of that Snickers almond in front of him. But right here, the big incident with the 72 getting into the 79 is going to send Foster Yates for a bit of a ride here. And this is not the way you want to be looking down the Long Pond stretch if you're the 79.
No, 98
luckily it lands on its wheels, but you see a lot of cars involved in this one.
Yeah, kind of a big one here at Pocono. Obviously, down the back stretch there, the 79 backing into the a few cars, the 88 up in the wall as well. So now the drivers need to exercise and utilize them fast repairs, but a lot of smaller incidents happening. Carl, who has them left? How many tires are left in the pit stalls? A lot of decisions need to be made by a lot of these drivers. And you see the 79 crabbing so bad after that. Wow. Yeah, that's not your eyeballs, folks. That is the 79 crabbing very bad.
Yeah, I know NASCAR for a little bit. Their package when they went to the super speedways, it looked like they were crabbing down the straightaways. But that's not how these right here were designed for tonight for sure. Is we're going to see quite a few drivers heading into pit lane this time by. So I'm wondering if they're thinking that this may end up being the comp caution here. Still no official word on if and when we're going to have it. I know it was going to be around lap 64-ish, but we'll see what happens here right now. Dale Garner is going to stay out. Matthew Radford, Paul Helms, and Chris Kurtz looks like they're staying out here as well. So just like that, Helms went from absolutely... Well, he's seen it happen. we're not gonna let him relive it. He's probably seen everything he needs to see here tonight. But
he visited the car wash.
Back at the third. I mean, just like that.
Yeah, back up to third place there for Paul Helms as we are now on lap 56 of 100. So definitely a lot of things going on here, but. Makes things interesting up here in the boots for sure. So definitely trying to get things done. But Dale Garner Jr. up 17 spots for that 31 right now, and it's got to feel good, even if it's is under caution after all the things that have happened with 31.
Yeah, we'll see if Garner can lead him to that comp caution, as we still got about 10 laps before we see that. Plenty of cars into the pits there. It's going to shake the order up here once again. Looks like the first one out of the pits is going to be Michael Casey in 5th place. Just taking a little bit of fuel, a little splash of fuel just to get him there. Tony Brennan going to come out in 6th. Jason Chrisman is also going to be both those guys, maybe just fuel only. But then Matthew Jordan, looks like now he's got 4 tires on that number 23 and up there in 8th, and he's got the newest tires, the furthest up right now in 8th position. So we'll see if that 23 can move up through the field before this comp caution. But they're all going to be behind Dale Garner and Matthew Radford for this restart, in kind of a tale of 2 different races. Garner started back there last in the field, technically in 16th spot, even though he qualified in 18th. But then Matthew Radford the other way, he qualified up in 4th and has had that 97 up towards the front for most of the race. So we'll see who's got the edge here, and if either of them can lead to the comp caution. Even Christopher Kurtz has been back there. We've seen what Paul Helms has gone through. That's your top 4. Can they all hold off Michael Casey to this comp caution? As looks like we're double filing up here. We're gonna get this thing back underway.
Yeah, we'll get back underway. Obviously, a lot of excitement. It's a long race. 100 laps at Pocono is a lot longer than some like the race here. It's a love and hate relationship, and this is the 2018 version. Is this the newest version of the track, Carl? Or is this the older one?
I honestly, I always get confused when they have stuff with the dates, and I mean, unless it says Legacy, I don't know if it's the old one or the new one. Even when it comes to the setups for these cars, when I'm going to put the setups in for sessions, and sometimes it makes sense that the one
well,
with
the
just
tracks
the name,
are like, because they're rescanned, they drive differently. The newer
absolutely.
tracks obviously smoother. The older track, bumpy as all can be, but hopefully these drivers obviously. They've been working there pretty good there for a while. Obviously, had that long green flag run, and now in that I don't know what the rush is. The comp caution is right around the corner, so I think everybody just trying to take advantage of being so close together. We've talked about it in the past, when the cautions happen, trying to get that position to try to better your position now, and you still have 43 laps to go, drivers. So let's take our time. Let's get it going. We know you can do it up here in the booth. Your fans are rooting for you. Just keep her clean, keep her green, and let's get back racing as a 31 brings them down to the start finish as a 31 and a 97. But the 97 getting a heck of a start. So Matthew Radford going to use that outside. Everybody down in the inside, though, as they head down to turn number 1.
Already Casey switching lanes, going to that outside line, trying to get through these cars quickly, as we haven't seen that 6 at the front yet. We've seen him battling for the lead, but did not get to the front with Craighead, and now he's got it up into 3rd place. He's dragging along in the 98 of Jason Chrisman as well, so 1 and 2 in points right here in 3rd and 4th as we're heading down the Long Pond stretch down into turn number 2. Big move by the 98, and that was really close there. I'm not sure if Casey even seen it coming. What a move by Jason Crispin, not waiting behind. And, well, Jimmy, I'd say that's what new tires are doing. Neither of them have new tires. They're using some older tires here. Now the 98 trying to go to work on the 31, as that 97 of Radford trying to get out and get away. But back to the line here. We're going to complete lap number 58. So the time is ticking away here. We're going to have about 6 more laps before that comp caution, but Radford in the lead right now. But that 98 is really he's getting aggressive. He wants to get to that front. He wants to get up there quick.
Well, he knows that he needs to be in front of the 6, regardless if it's a position or 2. This part of the season,
a little bump, and not sure if the 31 was coming down or what the case was. I seen the 31 get a little sideways. Good save there by Garner, and you seen even the 6 of Casey had to back out of that one. They're going to be side by side now, and looks like an incident with Cameron Craighead here as well. I see that he went off track. Not sure where the 58 is right now. It looks like he's collecting himself right now.
Go back here and see what happened. Cameron is coming. Oh, yep, 13 coming down.
Together with the 65 there, as he going to take to the access road there, and Looks like he's going to save it, but man, a tale of two different races here so far for Cameron Craighead, leading a ton in the beginning after qualifying on the pole, and now it seems like since he's gotten back in that middle of the pack, he has not been able to survive the Hornets right now. But
it's
right now,
out there, man.
it is Matthew Radford leading the way. Dale Garner still holding off the charge. Michael Casey in third, getting around Jason Chrisman. Timothy Ivey right back up there in fifth. Joe Sanchez right there in sixth as well. Helms falling back a little bit, still in seventh position. But these drivers are racing to get back to the comp caution, which should be in another 4 or 5 laps here. And it's been mighty racy here since this restart.
Yeah, you got Justin out there as he's speaking. Got 3 cars collecting it through turn number 2 to keep it green here as we finish up lap number 60 and start lap 61. So yeah, drivers doing a fantastic job. It is hard out here, and a lot of people sometimes out there don't realize like, oh, it's just a simulator. It's a big old video game, and it's amazing how much detail that everything is put in, and how with all the equipment you can get these days, and how actually difficult it is sometimes to catch something going 160, 170 miles an hour, especially traveling through the grass when you're not supposed to. Ooh, 15 in the 6 and the 24.
Yeah, I mean, really, the word I can describe iRacing in with one word is humbling. It is it's a simulation. I know everybody kind of laughs and jokes about, oh, it's a video game, it's a simulation. It simulates as close as possible to the real thing out there, and it is not easy. It's not something where you can go from PlayStation, running Gran Turismo or running some the NASCAR games and just hop right in here and be good coming from a controller. Whether you're staying on a controller, whether you're going to a wheel or from a wheel to a wheel, it's not the same at all, and it is a big learning curve for some. I know for myself, it took quite a bit. And there'll be a lot of times in the beginning, if you're just hopping onto the service, where the first month or two you'll be questioning your sanity. And if you really want to get into it, you kind of have to dive in, and you have to really understand how each of these cars handle. Every car on the service handles differently. And every track, and sometimes you go to the same track 3 times, it'll handle different 3 times. So it's really something that you need to put some time in. It's not something you're just going to pick up on the weekend and be good by the by Monday morning.
I mean, well, on the flip side, there is a few out there. They're weird, and they got this natural talent. They could just hop in and drive and be extremely quick. And usually where they fail or have issues is actually racecraft, how to race around other drivers. They might get the concept of the car and how fast, and they can push it to the limits, but it's how can you drive around other drivers? And that's what Justin was kind of saying out there, seeing 3 drivers kind of get into it, into turn number 2, and able to collect it and continue the race to keep going green. That was on the driver's decisions or racecraft in order to, slow down, throttle control, steering inputs to keep the car going in the right direction, and so they didn't cause an incident, bringing, this long race, to making it even longer. Cautions obviously bring things out, but we're going to go ahead and I'm going to say this is probably the comp caution. I'll go ahead and bring up the HUD here. Yeah, Daniel went ahead through the caution. So comp caution flies here at lap 64. It's going to leave the 98, I believe, out front.
Yeah, or was it just in time as Joe Sanchez was just going to make the pass. They knew it was going to be coming here in a second or two once they crossed that line, and I think Chrisman maybe had a bumper ahead right before that happened right there. So Chrisman is going to be your leader. It looks like, unfortunately, we're going to lose Cameron Craighead, as it looks like, I don't know if he had damage to that 58 or just the struggles in this second half. Looks like Craighead is not going to finish out this race, but Chrisman's going to be your leader. Sanchez worked his way back up there and was trying to take the lead before this comp caution, but it's going to be Chrisman, Sanchez, Timothy Ivey, Casey, Radford for your top 5. Garner did a good job, though. I mean, he held on, finishing this little stint here in 6th place. Paul Helms, same thing, up there in 7th. Christopher Kurtz, Matthew Jordan, and Bradley Worley for your top 10. And realistically, I mean, we still got 14 of our cars still running in this race out of starting 16. I mean, we lost Douglas Ivey a few laps ago. We just lost Cameron Craighead, but other than that, everybody out there is still running.
Yeah, and here's on the tower right now where everybody currently stands and how many positions they have gained. And we're going to see them come in down the pits here just momentarily as they're right now on the back stretch down that Long Pond straightaway. Going to be entering turn number 2, and I can actually go down there. Yep, see, as the drivers are coming through, slowed down, pace. They have picked up the pace car as everybody is kind of getting their stuff back together here. So always good to see these cars kind of go around here. And I can say that in real life, I didn't. When I watched this race, it was like the first race I went to there, Carl. My dad went down in the infield and they told us to go on the track. And my dad was like, you mean I get to go on the track? And the drive guy was like, yeah. He's like, well, how fast I go? He's like, as fast as you want to go. And he just had like an old Ford Ranger or whatever. Nice. And he got up to like 80 or 90 miles an hour, but he was, I think, smiles from ear to ear.
Oh, no,
I got to drive on the racetrack. It was a big thing back then, so it was a lot of fun. I can still remember his face. I mean, he was just like he was a little kid. My dad's about 21 years older than I am, so. It's been a little while since we've done that because that was back in the early 90s. So it's been a while since we were there, but he definitely remembers when we talk about it because I won't let him forget. That's for sure.
Yeah, for my first Father's Day, my wife got me one of the race packages to go up there and drive one of the cars. I still have yet to use it. I wanted to wait until the kid at the time, and now both the kids were old enough. But I was just thinking about that today. I'm like, I really got to use it. I should try and use that, this year or next year. They know what's going on now. They know, what it would be for me to be out there in the car and just experience it. But yeah, it's. I think that the biggest thing when it comes to these tracks, like I've been to Pocono a few times. I've been to Indianapolis, I think 3-4 times for the Brickyard. The sheer size of these tracks. I mean, you see them on the surface here. You see them, and okay, it's a 2.5 mile track, right? They get around in about a minute, but you don't realize how just humongous these facilities are. And I know we talked about when we went to Indianapolis last time here in CRN, how many different stadiums you can fit inside the complex there, inside the infield of Indianapolis, and Pocono is no different. I mean, it's just massive, and I mean you can't understand it, and it's one of those things where
this is the blimp view, a static blimp view. Everybody's got a chance to see the blimp view.
About maybe 2/3 of the Long Pond Straight, and that's it.
That's it. I mean, it is so massive. And in Pennsylvania, this track is like you see it here is in the middle of nowhere. Yes. It's like
I mean,
you have to drive down this long dirt road or long road to get to the tunnel turn, and then you just through some trees, and then you're on this track. You see, well, you can't see it on the right hand side. It's a parking lot where you do most of the parking, but you come in by the major stands. But all the stands are pretty much on the front stretch, so and that they have not changed. Now, if you want to see any of the other turns, you have to go down to the infield and park down in turns. Turn 1 was really big about. They had a mud bog down there the one year that I was there, so they had trucks there and cars. They had the biggest thing was they had this little Volkswagen Bug. This guy put on the side of his car in masking tape 3 hits for $1 with a sledgehammer.
Nice.
He must have been drunk or something. These people were, and he just asked them not to hit the glass. So these people are like banging on this dude's car that he drove in. They flipped it over upside down and were beating on the underside of it too. They ended up towing that car out because it would no longer drive. I don't know if the guy, how much money he got, but I think after it seemed like the first 2 people pay him. I don't know if he got any more money.
Well, we're about ready to go back green here. The field is stacked back up, and pace car's going to be pulling off this time by. But yeah, I think the most memorable moment I had up at Pocono was actually the rain. I mean, not the rain. The fog canceling the race. We had tickets for a race on Sunday. There was so much fog that they actually canceled the race and they had to have it on a Monday. And what was crazy was we wish we'd have known it beforehand because they didn't check tickets on Monday. You didn't have a ticket, didn't matter. There was nobody at the gate. You walk right in. So we made a pact at that point that if they ever got rained out, they ever got fogged out or anything like that, we're going up on Monday and we're going to try and get in for free. But we are back racing virtually here at Pocono as the 24 of Sanchez back out into the lead, but Matthew Jordan right there following suit on the outside, trying to get around the 51 of Kurtz, heading it down into turn number 1, 3 wides of 15, goes to the inside, and very close, and we're going to have another incident here. 3 wide can happen, can work, didn't work this time.
Why does the 79 look like a steel crab? I'm just curious. Wait a minute, I gotta go to Foster Yates' car because he's got me curious. Wait a minute. Yep. He's still crabbing. He still has major damage on that car.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, maybe he uses 2 fast repairs and it is what it is.
Maybe. Go, Joe.
Yeah, he's definitely the one to root for here tonight to try and at least get a top 10. But that was a major incident there, as we'll take a look at it here again. 51 just slipping up there, and really not much room to move. 23 into the wall, spins the 51 sideways, and then once the 51 kind of detaches from the front here, it's the shot down the inside wall that's really going to hurt the 51. Looks like the 23 maybe got away a little bit okay here. It doesn't look like too much damage again to the 23. The 51, once he shot off to the inside here. Not sure if he didn't have steering or what the case was, but hard impact on the inside here.
Yeah, it's a tough break for that 51 machine. Again, getting involved. Being up here in the booth, Carl, we see it time in and time out. If I could say back off to one of these drivers, it would save their race. It's you see it coming, and there's drivers that are so competitive and they really want that spot. But sometimes just thinking a little bit ahead, like this is not a good situation to be in, and being out there on that outside, I think I might have let up if I was a 23. Not saying it would have, it's obviously not going to net him any positions or anything, and he was able to drive away. Matthew Jordan was. It looks like his car is pretty decent there, at least on the left side here. I can do this. Don't mind the camera. The camera's left. People. I'm just showing you the other side of the car. So I just rotate to the other side of the car here, and it does look like he's in pretty decent shape. So 23 might have got away with that one, Carl.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to come into the pits and just maybe top off and then have the crew check it out and get any kind of repairs done as needed. Still plenty of racing left to go here tonight, and really wants to make sure that thing is good and spiffy to get all the way to the end. Joe Sanchez is going to be your leader. Timothy Ivey did survive that one on the inside, so in second place. But they don't have the fresh tires. It is Jason Chrisman that is the highest up there with fresh tires. Matthew Radford going to start in 4th. He's got some fresh tires as well. Michael Casey, Bradley Worley, Dale Garner, Paul Helms, Tony Brennan, and Scott Henderson going to be for your top 10, as we got 30 laps to go at the line here, so we should have about maybe 28 to go once we get this green flag, and we'll see if we can get this thing green to the end, and maybe we'll see one more green flag pit stop, and that can really shake things up here. And I'm kind of surprised we didn't see more cars come down into the pits. I mean, I don't know how far they can make it if they can go green all the way to the end. I mean, it's a good 35 lap run. I know some of this is being done under caution here, so it'll be real interesting to see if this thing goes green all the way to the end.
Well, you can see who has plenty of pit stops tonight. So a few drivers out there with 5 stops in the pits tonight so far. Sanchez has only been in 3. Tim Ivey's been out there he's been out there 4. So everybody, Inyard's been out there for 3 as well. So a few drivers having some better luck with their pit stops there tonight. Some been in more than others, but last pit stop itself, the pit lap, here we'll pull it up, and everybody was in on lap 65. Jordan being the first that was in on 69 along with Yates. Where's Yates? Oh, still crabbing.
Still crabbing coming out right now.
Poor Yates. He's trying though.
I can't imagine that the that right rear is going to wear too nicely for him. We'll see how that thing holds up, but I mean, the rest of the car didn't look that bad. A little wrinkle in the front, a little wrinkle in the back, but
he's turning right to go left. You can see on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, you got the little red hash mark there, all the way over to the right hand side, about the 3 o'clock mark.
Listen, it worked for Lightning, damn it, and I won him a championship. So maybe it can work here for Foster. We'll see how it works out.
Right. I mean, he's running around. He's currently sitting in 13th spot.
Looks like the pace car lights are out. We are doubled back up here, and since we got under 30 laps to go here, and we haven't had a chance yet, I think for this restart here, we'll go ahead and crank it up and give everyone in Sierra Nation a little love to hear it, and let these engines roar. Hopefully, they roar all the way through turn number 1 and onto the Long Pond straight. Going straight and not having anybody lose it with any kind of 3-wide racing, but we'll see how it works out here. Again, it's going to be Sanchez and Timothy Ivey on that front row. Can the 24 get yet another good launch here and lead going into turn number 1? We definitely seen that 15 get pretty racy on the front row, and certainly the 98 and 97 get those fresh tires, want to put them to good use as quickly as possible. They see that points leader, the 6 of Casey, right behind him, and I'm sure Casey's going to be looking to get to the front here and try and get his 3rd win on the season. But we'll head into turn number 3 again. It's time to crank it up and give everyone in Sierra Nation a little love to hear it.
Love to hear it. So we've been talking a lot with no mics, but that's all right. Welcome back. We're back. I mean, technical difficulties, right? But definitely a great race out here. Seen the incident happen there by the 23, and having a rough race. But it gives a break there for the 88 of Worley there to kind of come in. Carl was talking about this may be the money stop, as we only have 15 laps to go. Right now, Michael Casey and Matthew Radford obviously out towards the front. They're going to watch these drivers come down in the pits, hopefully for the last time, to see who comes away the winner here tonight.
Yeah, we're back, and either way, it was a chance to listen to these cars roar around Pocono. But yeah, this I think is going to be a big one here. We're already seeing some differing pit strategies here late in the race, and this is where it get very, very interesting. Looks like the 15 of Timothy Ivey is going to get out there from the pits first, and possibly only taking 2 tires. Michael Casey, Joe Sanchez. Looks like they elected to take 4. Tony Brennan maybe only taking 2, maybe not taking any. But our dirt track specialist out here, Foster Yates, hanging that thing out there. I mean, I know there's been a lot of talk of iRacing, thinking about bringing in, some drift cars and things like that. Well, sign me up if Foster Yates is going to sign up for a league, because he's been drifting that thing around for quite some time here. But yeah, I mean, like I did mention, when you guys couldn't hear me, it's good that Justin was kind of watching the same things that I was under the love to hear. Definitely seeing the Worley trying to knock down that turn 3 wall, maybe make a turn 4 here out of Pocono, and certainly right here, Foster Yates. Doesn't matter that car is not going straight. He's got that thing straight at the front of this field, baby.
You would not think it. Obviously, if I'm the 79, I think the sportsman thing to do, obviously, even if you have the lead, is just at least drive through the pits or ask for an HOL from the league. But I know a lot of times if
I disagree. Keep that thing out there. Chaos, baby. Come on.
No, Carl, no. You know that the car cannot handle going to 170 miles per hour.
He was only 2 seconds off pace.
I mean, it was impressive. I mean, who goes out there and crabs? I mean, let's go visit the 79 and his steering that he has to deal with right now. Let's see, cockpit mode for the 79, and you can see the red tape. That's center. You can see he's almost at the 3 o'clock. All right, that's a lot of right hand turning for left.
Hey, listen. I mean, in iRacing, in the setups, I know these are fixed setups, but you can adjust the steering offset. Maybe he started this race with, a negative 35 offset. You never know. Maybe this guy's been racing the whole time. We just didn't notice.
I mean, if for anything, he is getting a lot of camera time. I mean, it's exciting. I mean, that's what you call dedication. I mean, you're down and out. You're just like, man, I need this thing to go by. He's probably hoping it goes green, so he doesn't have to keep driving like this much longer. But doing one heck of a job. So shout out there for Foster Yates, keeping Smoking Joe going here with 14 laps to go. He is still on the lead lap, ladies and gentlemen. So the 79 is still there. So he still might be able to finish on the lead lap with the amount of cautions that kind of been plaguing the end of this race, but that's okay. We know that these drivers are out here having a good time. They're having a good, decent race. It's been a long one, as we're now down to 14 laps to go. With the lights off on the pace car, Timothy Ivey finds himself alongside Michael Casey on that front row, with Joe Sanchez in row number 2 with Jason Chrisman. And then Matthew Radford, Bradley Worley, and Paul Helms, Dale Garner, Wade Enyart, and Matthew Jordan for your top 10.
And we know all of you out there in Sierra Nation are loving every minute of this too, as it's definitely been a lively chat out here. So we love to see that, and love to see everyone out there engaged and really watching intently this thing finish out. We got 13 laps to go here at Pocono. It is the 15 of Timothy Ivey out front, but you see a couple hungry drivers right behind him. We're going to split him as Casey goes to the outside. It looks like Sanchez had to check up a little bit on the inside. He's still going to be 3 wide with now the 98 of Chrisman getting all the way up to second place. What a restart there by the 98. Now the 88. Going to try and send it around the outside here. Going to be a little tight. somehow they survive through that one. The 24 is going to settle into third place. Looks like the 15 just going to cut off the 97 going into turn 3. Jimmy, I think it's go time here at Pocono.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little far out for me, but definitely what these drivers want to do, they want to try to get up here for a great finish. And right now they are chasing the 6 of Michael Casey and Jason Christman. Obviously, there's a reason that those two up front are in 1-2 in the points. And they're showing here tonight as they are some of the strong cars to be there at the end. Joe Sanchez trying to ruin things here tonight, but Bradley Worley also another driver out there in the upper echelon part of the points, sitting currently in P4. We should have a Justin Spangler out in the car, but somehow he's out in the field tonight. But it's good to have him out there.
It's been a good race to watch. Let's be honest, it's been a heck of a race to watch here for the about 90 laps that we've seen so far. But yeah, I think this is the highest we've seen Worley all race. Started back there in. As he's blinking in and out here, as he started back there in 9th place and kind of been hanging out just outside the top 5 or right around that top 5 for most of the race. But he's kind of been hanging out. He's been hanging out there quite a bit into the outside wall. Looks like we had an issue with Timothy Ivey. Did not see what happened to the 15, but we have lost the 15. He's back into the pits. We'll try and take a look back if we can and see what happened to him, but that is a blown engine, so that was some heavy contact somewhere. We'll just rewind this thing and see what happened. Looks like maybe out of turn number 1. And Jimmy, I don't see any contact. Is that a bad money shift right there?
I bet you he went the downshift to go down to turn 1 and blew the motor.
There, the
right
engine
there.
blew going into turn number 1. And that is the first time I think we've seen that this season. A little bit of a money shift there from Timothy Ivey. And again, another opportunity for the 15 to maybe win a race is going to go by the wayside here tonight. But we've got a 3-car battle at the front. Casey trying to hold off the 24 and the 98 as we're almost 3 wide there through turn number 3. It's still going to be Casey, Sanchez, and Chrisman. They are checking out from the field about a second, almost a second and a half, back to the 97 of Radford as it's starting to get racy here with 10 laps to go.
Yeah, 10 laps to go. I mean, now's the time. You're going to see, obviously, our 2 points leaders in the mix here with newcomer Joe Sanchez taking it to him, just showing that there might be a new man on the block. You never know who's ever going to show up to the league, and it's always good. It's always good to see fast guys come in. It's always good to see any addition come in. It's where you see people be able to, practice their skills that they've learned so far in this season, maybe learn something off of somebody new that's coming in. If you're out there, you like racing, and you like these old Gen 6 cars, I love them. I was, when 191 approached us and asked us about doing a Sunday races car, I was like, I don't know about Sundays, but when they mentioned these Gen 6 cars, it was kind of like piqued my interest. I was like, I think we should give them a shot. And here we are with some great people out there, great fans, and some great drivers putting on a good show, and some of the older cars that Iracing used to keep up to date all the time, but still being able to put some great races here on, especially at a track here like Pocono. So just want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank all the fans out there. Thank you for all the drivers for showing up each and every week. And we will be here each and every week to continue to put on this live coverage for everybody out there. But Mike Casey trying to get another win here. Joe Sanchez wants no part of that as the 24 is down to the inside of that number 6.
Yeah, and to the lead as he makes the little bit of a slide job here in turn number 3 stick, but now the crossover from the 6 down the front stretch, some good side drafting. He's going to pull side by side and retake the lead going into turn 1. Do want to send a shout out and a thank you once again to our sponsors as well, Kim's Cups and More, and One Vision, EMS, and Transports. As this is definitely it's been a good one. It's been a bit longer one here at Pocono, but the one thing that is still clicking away is it looks like Scott Henderson had a bit of an issue earlier on, had to bring it into the pits. But what that's doing, Jimmy, is that 79 of Foster Yates is creeping closer and closer to the top 10. And I know, Formula One does it. Maybe we need to start doing it here at Ciarenio, driver of the race. Yeah, you can give it to Joe Sanchez, started back there in 14th. He's up there in first right now. I mean, you can give it to the drivers like Paul Helms, who, seeing his life flash before his eyes heading into pit lane, and is now back up there just outside the top 5. My money's going I'm not even sure what happened to half the car there for the 72, but my money would be going to the 79, just outside the top 10 right now.
Yeah,
I mean, what a race for Foster Yates is. Yeah, I think some kind of issues there for the 72 once he came to rest, but I think the issues really started here in turn number 2. The car did not want to turn.
You can see that front left tire just out of it, down to the inside. Trying to keep it down there as the leaders come by on the outside there. 72 decides to go ahead and bring it in. This is a sportsman thing, Carl. This is, you can't train people to do this. This is on the driver to do the right thing for the race. Brings it down, comes down stop. There's obviously some graphical issues going on there with Iracing, but that is what you want from league members, you know, to make the right call to, you know, we know that he's having a hard time. We've seen it there on the screen, but he was able to make the decision in order to allow this race to keep going green. And that's hard for some people, and that's awesome to see. So shout out to Scott, you know, amongst his, you know, troubles here tonight to be able to make the right decision, bring it in, and allow these drivers here to continue this out as we have 6 laps to go. Joe Sanchez in the lead. Jason Chrisman in P number 2, looking to take over that first spot, and our points leader Michael Casey in 3rd. So Jason,
a bit of a dive by the 98, and I don't think it's going to pay off. He's going to lose a ton of time here. Maybe a little bit of a fake out in turn 2, but he got a bad entry because of it and could be losing 2nd place. We did have another issue, and it was Tony Brennan hopping into the pits. And that is going to put Foster Yates into the top 10. So the 79 could be looking at a top 10, and that's what sticking around, regardless of what the car is doing, can do for you. I mean, he's plenty far back there. He is, again, about 3 seconds off pace. Doesn't matter. He is possibly going to walk away with a top 10 here tonight, but you've seen a big impact there. 98 into the wall. Doesn't look like it really shook him up, though, too much. He's able to get back into 2nd place here and maybe make one more run at Sanchez, but Sanchez has been tough here tonight. Leads the way right now with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, he's been tough all night. Seen a lot of speed there in the 24. Just the way he was driving, especially on the older tires, and you know, the 6 and the 98 need to kind of buckle down and use these next 5 laps in order to catch. If they continue to battle themselves, they will just be fighting for P number 2 and 3, and with no chance. But the 98 is going to take care of that. There's a nice little hit there on the 98 coming off of turn number 3. Might have just put the nail in the coffin there for the 98 to, you know, maybe might be in danger of even Matthew Radford back here with Bradley Worley and Paul Helms to take over that spot. You hit that wall too many times.
Well, it is still the 24. Sanchez leading the way, but can he hold off Casey and Chrisman, as Casey now back into 2nd place? And the top 3 right now still covered by about 1 second, very close between the top 3. This is the battle back here for 4th, 5th, and 6th, as how about Paul Helms sticking it in there and still hanging out there after the major incident. He went down a lap, got it back, and now he is battling up here, trying to walk away with a top 5 here tonight. And he's got Bradley Worley, former race winner earlier on in the season, as Worley won the season opener, gets into the turn 3 wall again for about the 10th time here tonight. I don't think he's gonna be too friendly with it after the race here, but could be costing him 5th place right now as Helms moves into 5th. But you see right now, it is a 2-horse race out front. The 98 of Chrisman has fallen back big time. It is Sanchez and Casey. Could be mano a mano here to the end if Casey even has anything left in that 6.
Yeah, I don't know if Casey does. I think Sanchez has, I think he's the cream of the crop here tonight. I think he finally arose to the occasion at the right spot, right time, and is going to be able to extend his lead here. I think if Mike does get up to the 24, he's going to have, maybe his tires will be too far gone. And the 88 continuing to pound the wall back there.
he's there. He's waiting for that turn 4. He's gonna find turn 4 at Pocono one way or another. I mean, either way, he is banging that outside wall coming out of 3 so many times.
He must be giving his fans in the stands a high five or something as he comes by. It only reminds me there's a little place in Pennsylvania. If anybody's up there, it's called the Nobles, all right? And it was this little park, and they had this Ferris wheel in there, and you'd stay on the outside horse, and you stick your finger out, and you catch a ring. And I think that's what the 88's doing.
Yeah, maybe there's rings on the outside of turn 3. I haven't seen them yet, but maybe he's trying to touch the green light, or maybe grab one of those cones if there's any cones on the exit. Either way, he is certainly he's made sweet love to the exit of turn number 3. That is for sure. But you see right there, white flag is in the air. One more lap to go. It is not that far in between our leaders right now. Only a quarter second separates Sanchez and Casey heading into turn number 1. Casey looking for his 3rd win on the season. Came in as the points leader, but Joe Sanchez looking to come in here and win on his race as they head down the Long Pond Straight. About a third of a second separating the top 2 right now. It is 4.5 seconds in between them and Jason Chrisman. They have gapped him majorly here at the end, but Sanchez taking the lines that he needs to, using that apron to his advantage, helping to wrap that car around. Very close now, heading into turn number 3. Casey tries to get to the back bumper, but it's not going to be enough. The last charge is going to come up just short, and off of turn number 3, Joe Sanchez is going to win it here tonight at Pocono. Michael Casey going to come home in 2nd. Looks like Jason Chrisman and Matthew Radford battling to the line, and give it to Radford, getting the top 3 by 0.05 of a second. As Chrisman really fell in the late stages here. He's going to fall to 4th. Paul Helms, got to give it to him, coming home with a 5th place here tonight. Bradley Worley, I guess he didn't bang turn 3 wall enough. Now he's going to give a little love to turn 1 here as well, as he's going to come home in 6th. Matthew Jordan, a good bounce back there, as he certainly had just another Matthew Jordan type of race, but I mean, at least he's able to salvage a 7th place here. Wade Enier coming home in 8th. Foster Yates in 9th. I'm sorry, Dale Garner in 9th, but Foster Yates, standing ovation for the man in 10th place, getting it done. And I mean, you can't say enough. It had to be just hell driving that car for the last 50 laps or so, the way it seemed, but he got it done and got himself a top 10.
I don't even know how. That is like it's so, like, I'm just watching the car. I mean, obviously he's on his final laps and he's bringing his thing down to a stop, but it's so far out there. I could only imagine, like, one wrong lift of the gas, one wrong dab of the brake, and that car is going around and you're causing another caution. 79 does not do that. He keeps it clean, he keeps it green, he stays out of the way, comes home with the top 10. So congratulations to the 79. I mean, like you said, Carl, I know we're going to talk to our podium finishers here tonight, just here shortly, but a huge shout out for somebody who can drive a car that broken and to stay out of people's way. And it does help. Obviously, it's on a larger track, but still was able to keep up some decent speed, and he was on the lead lap.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, certainly cautions helped that out a little bit, but even still, I mean, a heck of a run from him. And yeah, Justin, once again, I would tend to agree with you. It's definitely a little less stressful sitting back here watching these boys get around this track, and instead of being on the track, it can be fun, getting out there with them. But the stress is definitely a little bit less sitting back here watching it, and you can have some laughs and not be involved in some of these incidents as well. But we'll get our top 3 in here in a moment. Jimmy gave us a rundown of the top 10. Why don't you give me the final running order here for the entire 18-car field here tonight?
Yeah, final rundown of the field here tonight. It's going to be Joe Sanchez for the win here, over Michael Casey, Matthew Radford for your top 3. Then Jason Chrisman, Paul Helms, Bradley Worley, Matthew Jordan, Wade Enyart, Dale Garner Jr., Foster Yates for your top 10. Christopher Kurtz, Tony Brennan, Scott Henderson, Timothy Ivey, Cameron Craighead, Douglas Ivey, and James Jones for your 17 drivers. And then give a shout out to your steward, Daniel Pinkston, down there, keeping everybody in line, whether they need it or not. And, calling the cautions, calling the comp cautions, giving them the EOLs. It is the hardest job on the track by no by no margin. The guy that takes the most, lack of better words, crap from everybody. So good job, Daniel, as you keep this thing going for everybody out there.
And more often than not, it's a thankless job, and you're going to get a hell of a lot more grief than you will from drivers than you will respect and thanks. So definitely shout out to Daniel out there, and thank you for everything that he does. Thanks again to the sponsors, Kim's Cups and More, and One Transport EMS, or One Vision EMS and Transports for their sponsorship, and everybody out there in Sierra Nation tuning in here tonight. Hit that like and subscribe. But let's get our top 3 in here for some interviews, and we're going to go ahead and start it with third place here tonight. And by the ever so slightest of margins, Matthew Radford. I got to imagine coming to about 5 laps to go, you thought, maybe, well, I got a top 5 here in hand. But did you ever think that you're going to be talking to us here with a podium at the end of this race?
The 2 guys that were behind me were actually much faster than I was for a little bit there, so I didn't think a top 5 was in sight for me. Top 3 definitely was a shock.
I mean,
coming out in the top 5 pretty much all race, but it was hard competition.
Yeah, coming out of turn 3 there, you're right there with Chrisman, and you edge him by 0.05 of a second at the line.
That was Jason.
Chrisman.
Chrisman.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I didn't realize it was that close.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, either way, I mean, it's exactly what you need. I mean, you had a fast 97 out here tonight, and it definitely seemed like a lot of you drivers suffered some issues coming out of turn number 3. It seemed to be the rough part here tonight, and really a lot of drivers getting to that outside wall, and that's what caused some of the cautions here tonight. How would you define the track out there?
Yeah, turn 3, I was complaining all race to the group that I was racing with that turn 3 was just not my strong suit. I actually almost spun off of it one time. Every other corner, turn 1 was definitely my best. Turn 2 is a little tricky. It took me about 3/4 of the race in to actually not lose time on everybody during that one. But turn 3 was difficult. I don't think coming out of this race that I will know how to take it in the next one.
Well, I mean, you come into this race here tonight. I know we've had different winners now, 4 races, or 4 different winners in 5 races. I know we've kind of seen some of the similar names at the front of these field, and kind of feels like it's only 2 or 3 drivers that can legit win one of these races. Now you get another one, Sanchez winning here tonight. But I mean, realistically, if you're sitting back here watching these races, it feels like there's about 10 of you guys that can win in any given week, and you being one of them. It just seems like you're just short here tonight, and it's almost a recurring theme that you're just a little bit short here. But I gotta feel like you feel that maybe a win is not too far off on the horizon.
Hey, look, I've won a championship without a single podium finish throughout the whole season. So as long as I'm consistent, I'm happy.
Well, so far so good. As you come home with a nice little podium here tonight, we'll see if that helps you out in the long run here. But surviving Pocono was a bit of a feat here tonight. There's definitely a lot of damaged cars out there. So congrats on the podium here tonight by a big old whopping 0.05 of a second. Before we let you go and get out of here, who do you want to give a shout out to? Thanks to?
Everybody in this league, honestly, they're all really, really chill. There's not much arguing that I know of, at least in my group of people. I race with quite a few of them. So Jason, definitely, I made a comment to him. He's someone I see on track the most. So everybody in this league, man, they're all awesome.
Well, you did a heck of a job here to fight and hold off the challenges from behind, and then you snuck in a 3rd place there at the end. So congrats again. We'll let you go celebrate, and we'll see you next week. See if you can get up there and talk to us again.
All right, appreciate you.
That is your 3rd place finisher here tonight, the 97 of Matthew Radford. And I mean, it's always a nice thing when you're worried about the guys behind you, worried about just trying to secure the position that you have, and all of a sudden you see that car in front of you just slowly creeping back towards you. I know it's not what Jason Chrisman wanted, especially points wise. Going to lose a little bit more to Michael Casey, but definitely give it up to Matthew Radford for holding on. But now, Jimmy, we will bring in that 2nd place finisher here tonight. Almost got his 3rd win, but Michael Casey going to come home with the 2nd place here tonight.
Hey, Mike, Jimmy, and Carl, the booty copy.
Yes, sir. I got you guys.
Well, welcome back to the booth, and I'm sure you're maybe hoping for that P1 win, but you had your challenges here tonight. Even got yourself a little penalty, put you back in the bad boy box as an incident occurred under your watch, and but you made your way up through the field, and you were able to walk away here, in second place. Following a very fast Joe Sanchez, newcomer here to this series. So looks like you're going to have your hands full and might be a contender here later in the season. But we want to say congratulations and give you some time for any to give your side of the story here tonight.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I was hoping maybe y'all were recording something else in the stands or something. Y'all didn't see that little mishap.
No.
So I'm glad appreciate you guys catching that.
We're keeping you honest.
Y'all do a great job. But no, yeah, and I felt horrible when that happened. I keyed up immediately and apologized, and I was like, dang it. So it happens. I tell you what, man, I did not expect to get that type of racing tonight. I think everybody was just it just seemed like everybody was 10 times more aggressive tonight. There was a lot of stuff going on the track. So as much as I like Pocono, I'm kind of glad this one's over, to be honest. It was a little bit of a wild one.
It was a great one to watch up here, and I mean, and I think you said that you're feeling the raciness. There is so many people out here that they're very close in talent level that you have in this league, this good league here with these cars, and they're getting comfortable. You guys are getting comfortable racing around each other. Everybody's making smart decisions out there. Obviously, these people are going to make mistakes. That happens in racing, but I've seen people parking their cars, to allow the race go green. I've seen great catches, seen outstanding drivers, seen somebody driving 35 degrees, wrong wheel and finishing the race. I mean, there's plenty of unique stuff out there to give the fans and, just to kind of showcase the league and the type of drivers are out there. You guys fast. Obviously, the mid pack boys, I call that's the battlefield. That's the hornet's nest. And, that's where a lot of the great racing lies, whether it's somebody's best track is in there. A fast guy has gotten himself in trouble, now has to work his way through it. It's a battlefield out back there in that mid pack. But you find yourself here again in that second spot. Obviously, you've seen the 98 kind of was right on your back bumper, but had problems there with turn number 3 and found themselves dropping back into P number 4. So you can get yourself a little more buffer there with points, but you got to be a little concerned with that 24 Sanchez showing up here with quite a few races left in the season.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely going to amp up the intensity as far as how these races progress through the season. I think everybody will be wanting to put a little bit more practice in and get some more practice races in. But, yeah, I had my fair share with the wall today. I lap 1, I decided, what the heck, I might as well just hit the wall and get that out of the way. So I hit the wall very first lap all by myself and took damage to the car. So I was struggling for a while just to kind of keep up. But, yeah, Pocono, man, it's a very underrated track in my opinion. I think it puts on some great racing. You almost get the draft package as well as every corner is different. So yeah, Pocono was out there for a vengeance tonight. I kind of at one point I just wanted to make sure we weren't at Dover or something. It just seemed to be that kind of a race. But yeah, everybody did a great job though. It was fun, good one moving forward. So
yeah, definitely a great race to watch here tonight, and obviously you had yourself a very good finish here with a second place finish. Next week you move on to something a little bit different though, off to North Wilkesboro, so off to the short track realm there. So looking forward to seeing everybody out there. How are you feeling about next week?
Absolutely love it. I love North Wilkesboro. I love short track racing, getting the elbows up, sliding the car in the corners. So it's definitely one that we've had on the schedule before, and it tends to put on some pretty good racing. Might ruffle some feathers, who knows? But I'm ready for it. I'm just excited to keep the season going. It's been a lot of fun so far.
Yeah, definitely a big change here from Pocono to North Wilkesboro, and then off to Talladega. You guys have a pretty good schedule through the rest of the season, all the way out into the end of August. So again, congratulations here with your second place finish. And before we let you get out of here, though, we'll give you a little bit of time for any shots you might have at number 6.
All right, cool. Yeah, shout out to you guys. As always, you all put on a great broadcast, and we always enjoy going back and watching that. Congratulations to Matt and Joe on their podiums tonight. It was well earned. Everybody Definitely had the elbows up, getting after it tonight. So good job to them. Good job to everybody at 191. Appreciate you guys coming out and supporting the league and showing up to race tonight. Kim's Cups and More, One Vision EMS Transport. Appreciate you all sponsoring everything and helping this league out. Shout out to everybody in YouTube and all my friends and family that were watching tonight. Great momentum heading into North Wilkesboro, so I'm excited.
Again, congratulations and thanks for the shout outs, and hopefully we'll see you next week. We'll let you
Awesome.
go celebrate with your friends and family.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. Later, Mike.
That is your second place finisher here tonight, the 6 of Mike Casey. Certainly going to help him out with the points again. I mean, he's been factoring in just about every one of these races, so the points lead is definitely going to stretch out a little bit more, especially with a little bit of a falter there at the end from Chrisman. But top spot here tonight, winning on his maiden race, is going to be the 24 of Joe Sanchez. Joe, heck of a run here tonight. You started a little bit back further in the field, but you wasted no time working that 24 up through the field, and you seemed to be competitive right away. Didn't matter if you had newer tires, older tires. You seem to really been feeling out here tonight. Is Pocono a track that you enjoy, or did you just like the package here tonight?
Pocono's actually one of my not so good tracks. I'm surprised I actually ran this well at it, but yeah, I was glad that caution came out with I think 17 or 18 to go, because I didn't take tires at the stage break there, and I definitely was at a detriment to the leaders there. But good run, some good clean racing at the front. Wish we could have had a couple more green flag runs, but glad we kind of went green to the finish there.
Yeah, it was definitely, I was kind of scratching my head. I'm wondering, like, how is this going to play out here? Because I did see that you didn't take tires there, but you were hanging with them still pretty well, and even, kind of competitive there, trying to take the lead. But as soon as that comp caution, or the late caution came out, I'm like, well, everybody's on the same tires now. It's going to be tough. But it wasn't exactly easy. I mean, you got out there to the front, and it looked like it was going to be a 3-car battle between you, Mike, and Jason for quite some time before Jason fell back there. And even then, it looked like maybe you'd just be able to, drive away and kind of hold off Casey all the way to the end, but he gave you one heck of a run there towards the end of the race.
Yeah, I tried to back off a little bit once I got a little bit of a lead on him, just in case he did have the chance to run down. I wanted to make sure I had a little bit of tire left to battle with him. But like I said, glad it went to the green to the finish there, and I really like driving these cars. I haven't driven them in a very long time, so it's cool to see a league that actually runs these still.
Yeah, absolutely. And you did a heck of a job on your maiden race here tonight. Will we see you through the following season here? Is it just going to be a one-off for you, or are you going to be joining the series full-time?
Yeah, I think as long as my Sundays are free, I think I'll be joining this. So, like I said, not too many people still race these things, so you got to take every opportunity you can.
Exactly. Well, you go to a bit of a different track here, as it's almost kind of funny the way the schedule kind of works out here, coming off of Dover last week. But you had Pocono this week. You go to the short track at North Wilkesboro, and then back to the super speedway at Talladega. So what do you feel like the next 2 races are going to come for you?
North Wilkesboro should be fun. Glad it's the higher horsepower package, so you get a little bit more wheel spin and can maneuver your car a little bit more, and the dirty air isn't as bad. But Talladega, for some reason in these cars, it's really hard to run side by side. So I think Talladega is going to be mostly single file. So track position's probably going to be king there.
Well, you did a good job here on your first race out here. Certainly going to send a little message to everybody else out there that you're something to you got something to prove here coming in here, and you did a fantastic job. So congrats on the win. Before we let you go and get out of here, who do you give a shout out to or thanks to?
Give you guys a shout out for a good broadcast. I was trying to watch it a little bit during the caution flag, so great job there. And then my normal team here, Drinker Bros Racing, might get a couple more guys in here once another league they're in ends up in a couple of weeks, and maybe we'll have a bigger field.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, congrats on the win here. Once again, we'll let you go celebrate this week at North Wilkesboro, so you can go back to back.
Thanks, guys.
That is your winner here tonight, driver of the 24, Joe Sanchez, getting it done here. And it looked like he had the car to beat here for a lot of the night once he kind of got up there and started racing with the leaders. But Jimmy, it wasn't that easy at the end, as once again Michael Casey came in there and tried to factor into this win.
Yeah, I mean, Mike's always done a pretty fantastic job of making sure he gets in that spot towards the end, be a factor, and it's why he's up there in the points chase. Obviously, having Joe come in is going to give him more of a challenge and maybe more of a reason to practice a little harder. So you got some harder competition, and and that's what happens. You get out there, you get your name out there, and some newer drivers start showing up, and some of them can have some talent that maybe you weren't expecting. And one person comes in like Joe, has a great race, and you heard him. He's got some friends that they races with, so you could see some more people from Drinking Bros Racing come on over and to join 191 Motorsports, and it makes things evolve, and that's where you see leagues start becoming successful. You start, the word of mouth gets out there. It all starts, I don't want to say it all starts here at CRN, but some people can come out here and they can come back and they can see the race without having to ask somebody for a replay or whatever. So it does help, and I appreciate all the thumbs up tonight that I see. We have 6, so better than last week. I'm hoping for some more, because I know there's a lot of people out there watching. If I see 13 people, I like to see at least 13 thumbs, considering everybody has 2, and that would be 26. But I appreciate it, everybody out there: Justin, Brenda, Renee, and DJ Mike, Twisted Gaming, Ham Sales. Let's see who else was out here tonight. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody, but I really appreciate you, everybody, just kind of talking, keeping the chat going. It's fun to watch and see how everybody's who they're rooting for, and and to see the conversation go back and forth, and everybody's keeping it clean. I really do appreciate that. Besides maybe starting up a only cars account for CRN, which we'd have to look into. But anyways, great race here. Great race here tonight here with 191 Motorsports. And again, shout out to your winners and everybody out here that performed well, and maybe even to the guys that didn't perform well, because without you, we wouldn't have anything to broadcast.
Yeah, certainly. It was definitely fun seeing the lively chat out there, and yeah, I'll have to look into the Only Cars account and maybe start posting some pedal pictures and see if that gets some extra cash going in there. But speaking of 191 here, we do have the event coming up here pretty soon. Coming up, not this coming weekend, but next weekend is going to be the CRN Cup, and that's going to see all of the drivers that CRN puts on have a chance to get out there on the track together. It's going to be 2 races, an oval race and a road race, Xfinity cars, and then the GT3s, as we'll see each of the series that CRN broadcasts. Put some teams together and get out there and mix it up for just a little bit of fun, a little bit of a showcase, and a chance for all the leagues to kind of intermingle and maybe share some stories, share some drivers, and like, hey, you race on Tuesday night, here's what we got going on Sunday night, or here's what we got going on Thursday night. And it's definitely an opportunity to kind of recruit a little bit for your league. So hopefully we'll see plenty of drivers out there from 191. But that's going to do it for our broadcast here tonight from the Pocono Raceway. It was a good one here for race number 5 here of the season. Next week coming up is going to be North Wilkesboro, a little bit of a throwback action coming at you next week. So hopefully you tune in. Hopefully have those great numbers and great talk. And hopefully see Justin back out there in the track as much as he liked it out there in the chat here tonight. But for myself and Jimmy here in the CRN booth, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.